Good morning, everybody. I call the August 11th, 2026 meeting of the DuPage County Board to order. The quorum is if members is physically present. I'll entertain a motion to permit those members not physically present due to personal. Second, is there a second? Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, I invite everyone to stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Member you, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? The republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now invite Pastor Jonathan Keller from the Faith Community Church in West Chicago to lead us in the invocation.
Thank you, ma'am. Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we give you thanks this day for all these leaders and members from our community that you have gathered here. Lord, we pray for prudence for them, for knowledge for them, for care not only for their own positions, but also for our community. Lord, we also hear the thunder and the winds around us. We pray that you would keep our people safe, especially those who will be affected by these storms. Lord, help them with safety, help them with care after these storms. And we pray for this board meeting that with all the business that needs to happen, would you help everyone here to remember they are here for the good of DuPage County and for your glory. We pray all these things in the name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Okay, Mr. Deputy Clerk, please take the roll.
Member Cahill.
Here.
Member Childress. Member Covert.
Here.
Member Dessart. Here. Member Eckhoff.
Here.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez. Member Ozog. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Here.
And Member Zay.
Okay, I invite Member Krajewski, Member Dessart, Laura Flamian, and DuPage Animal Friends, Jen Martin and Frank Lesniak to the podium.
Get a picture afterwards, but we're going to accept this check here from the DuPage Animal Friends. Jen Martin, the president, come up here and tell us about this great check. Holy. Go ahead, President.
Thank you. On behalf of DuPage Animal Friends, I am honored to stand before the county board and members of our community this morning. And it is my privilege, pursuant to a grant, to present to DuPage County Animal Services a check in the amount of $500,000. These funds are sorely, thank you. These funds are sorely needed by the shelter to continue the life-sustaining efforts for the animals in the shelter and to ensure that every animal receives a safe and loving home. As you know, our shelter is the only shelter in the county that is open admission. And since January 1st of this year, the shelter has already taken in over 1,500 animals. More than $89,000 has been spent on medical care alone, medical supplies, and over $14,000 has been spent on specialty diagnostics for care and treatment. Our veterinarian has performed over 1,600 spay and neuter surgeries. And as of today, the shelter is caring for more than 250 animals. The shelter cannot sustain itself without the generous and benevolence of our donor family, and we are so grateful to them. We are humbled by the outpouring of donations, not only from our community, from private donors, but from our business partners as well. I also want to thank each and every member of our board for your dedication and support and for truly caring about the shelter. It truly takes a village. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you, board, for raising this tremendous amount of money. I know last year we had $1 million check donation, $500,000 this year, and I think we'll get on the agenda next year, Nick, for another big check presentation. But again, Laura and Jillian done a phenomenal job at the shelter, helping build this new $14 million building. And we're always looking for board members. As you know, we got Sean Noonan and Patty Gusson, who used to sit in those chairs over there, who have both joined the foundation over the last year to help raise money. And I think actually Sean Noonan was on the Animal Services Committee for a number of years when he served here. Again, I want to thank the board for raising the money and getting the information out there about what we do in the county. So thank you very much, Foundation, for that $500,000 check. Thank you, Chair, for your support. I know Chair Conroy, I believe, was the first one to grab a table at the gala this year. So she was number one in, and you could probably hit her up to get one on for next year. Thank you, Chair. You like to check picture up there with the check there? We'll get up there with one here. Maybe Laura and Jill, can you guys come up here with the chair? Did you get that picture with the chair since she was up there with her?
Yes.
Oh, you guys go up there and get a nice picture with Chair Conroy, presenter with the $500,000. Nice.
Okay, on the matter of public comment, according to our county board rules, members of the public shall be afforded time to address the board. Individual remarks shall not exceed 3 minutes. Our first speaker is
Sharon Costabile.
next to me.
Good morning, Chair Conroy, and all of the rest of our DuPage County Board members. My name is Sharon Costabile, and I have standing here with me Ashley McLeod. My daughter Rachel Costabile lives in her own apartment with Ashley, and their third roommate also here, Ruth Pleege, in Naperville. Well done. Sorry. I'm coming. Don't count my minutes.
It's okay. Take your time.
Okay. It's okay. So today, I'd like to see if Ashley, she's speaking with me, so I hope it's okay if she joins with me right now. She has something that she would like to share about living in Naperville in DuPage County. Ashley, would you like to step up here and say something?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley. And alongside my housemates, Rachel and Ruthie, we want to share why we love calling downtown Naperville our home. For us, living together in our home means independence with the wonderful support of our staff. We have the freedom to manage our home and make our own choices every single day. Independence also means being able to run our own business and contribute to our community. Together, we created just develop a very own micro business where we publish and sell our healthy lifestyle cookbook. Having our own business gives us a sense of pride, purpose, and financial freedom. We love being an active part of our local workforce. We even love taking exciting business trips together to talk about our work. At the end of the day, we love coming home to each other and enjoying the energy of downtown Naperville. The community and support of our staff truly empowers us to thrive as independent adult women and business owners. We are proud to live and work and succeed here. Thank you for supporting the Break World Project and a home for Elena Nelson and her friends.
Thank you, Ashley. Engage Illinois is a coalition that we have developed together with other families, with individuals with disabilities, and we are in support of the Plank Road project and the approval of variances required to move forward on this plan. Further, we would like to see policy development to support other families to create new opportunities for to create new opportunities for housing in DuPage County for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We are currently working with the state of Illinois on a deep dive project to open opportunities and capacity for people with developmental disabilities in their home communities. So again, we're interested as a coalition in supporting DuPage County. We would love to do that in any way that we can to create more opportunities for people with disabilities. Thank you for your commitment to our residents with developmental disabilities to build a life of their own in their home communities. Thank you. And thank you for whatever time I went.
With Engage Illinois. Is there someone here with Engage Illinois?
That was Ashley and myself.
Dave Nelson.
Good morning, Chair Conroy and members of the board. My name is Dave Nelson. I'm here as president of NGHC, the nonprofit supporting the petition 26-00007. I want to thank many of the people behind me are here in support of this effort and highlights the need as well as the effectiveness of our proposal. As a reminder, I forgot. The reason we're here is for the young ladies in the picture here. This is the ladies touring the group home and their excitement. Two of these young ladies are right behind me, Ari and Elena, right here. So I want to make sure that that's front and center because that's why we're here. The petition asks for conditional use for a planned development and related variances to convert the existing house into a licensed group home, build a vocational greenhouse, and build a supportive family accessory dwelling unit on the 1.14 acre property. That's 49,600 square feet of land. The lot is more than 4 times the size of nearby units. This addresses the key issues for those with developmental disabilities: housing, a vocation, and support. At its core, this is a policy decision. Does DuPage County want to support housing, vocational opportunity, and family support for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities on this site? The Zoning Board of Appeals voted to recommend denial, and I respect that the board has that record in front of it. I point out that ZBA's own findings acknowledge no petition-specific evidence that was cited in any of the statutory impact factors. By contrast, the Development Committee voted unanimously for the petition. I think we're just trying to shut those up. Every county department that has reviewed this petition.
I'm so sorry.
Yep.
We're going to have to suspend the meeting.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep, we know. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. I want to resume the meeting of August 11th, 2026. We had to shelter in place because of a tornado warning. Everyone is safe. I want to thank Jeff Janis and his crew from OHSEM who guided us through these types of warnings. They're fantastic. And I'm going to ask the clerk to take the roll for quorum.
Member Cahill, Member Childress, Member Covert,
Here.
Member Desart, Member Eckhoff,
Here.
Member Evans, Member Galassi, Member Garcia, Member Heather, Member Honig, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Martinez,
Here.
Member Ozog, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu,
Here.
and Member Zay.
We're going to go ahead and, oh, he is on? Okay. Okay. Okay, we have a quorum. I'll entertain a motion to permit those not physically. Second, all in favor? Okay, all right, we'll resume public comment.
Making major decisions in my life, I'm always looking for a sign. I think we just had one. I had my what was future bride on the top of a mountain in Switzerland, and I was looking for courage or reason to pop the question. I had the ring in my pocket for a few days, and on the mountain next to us, it looked like Zeus was throwing the lightning bolts on it, and I took that as a sign that I better hurry up and pop the question. So anyway, I asked the board for your support for this, for our petition, and to get forward with the group home, the greenhouse for the vocation, and for the supportive housing next door. Thank you for your consideration.
Lynn Nelson.
Yeah, she was the Zeus with me too, so she's fine.
Lynn Nelson. No, that was, oh, got it. Lynn Dugan.
Hi, thank you very much, Chair Conroy and the rest of the members of the DuPage County Board. My name is Lynn Dugan, and I'm from Repeat Boutique. We're a nonprofit in the county's 6th district. I currently serve on the board of directors and have been a volunteer for more than 5 years. Repeat Boutique has served DuPage County residents for more than 50 years by providing free clothing and household essentials to individuals and families experiencing hardship. Last year alone, Repeat Boutique helped more than 6,000 DuPage County residents. Behind that number are fitted clothing, parents able to redirect limited income on rent or groceries, families finding a measure of stability during difficult times. Today, I'm requesting a grant for $30,000 to help expand our operation. Our clients can shop free of charge once every 3 months for up to 4 times a year. They come through referrals from DuPage County departments and services, as well as trusted community partners like local food pantries, World Relief, churches, schools, and other nonprofit organizations. Every piece of clothing, winter coat, pair of shoes, household item is donated by generous neighbors in our community. We have more than 70 dedicated volunteers who sort, organize, and display those donated items. It's truly a model of neighbors helping neighbors. Financial support for Repeat Boutique comes through generous individuals, churches, foundations, and grants, including DuPage County's small agency grant that was awarded last year by this board, and additional support from members Zay and Krajewski. Thank you very much. Because of your investment, we were able to hire our very first executive director, which has strengthened our operations, and it positions us for the continued growth that we have. And we thank you for believing in our mission. The need for our services has grown dramatically. We now serve more than 2,000 families that represents these 8,000 individuals, 6,000 of them from DuPage County. That's 2,000 adults and about 4,000 children. To meet this growing demand, we are expanding our volunteer team and strengthening our donor base. Our current facility is 6,700 square feet. We've been there for about 6 years, We've more than doubled in our services in the last 4 years. So we're asking to acquire this adjacent 1,000 square foot space that's become available. It gives us an opportunity to expand without having to move. And it also has some running water. So we're going to be able to process our donations more efficiently, and our volunteers will be able to work more effectively. This expansion is not about adding office space. It's about creating infrastructure that's needed to handle tens of thousands of donated items every year. We need to handle them responsibly and efficiently, and we want to quickly have those donations reach the people that we serve. So $30,000 will be used to cover the rent that's needed and also the startup costs necessary to optimize the space for our volunteers to work. So thank you very much for your time and consideration. I really want to invite you all to visit our center. We're at 191 South Gary in Carroll Stream, and we invite you to come and see our center. Thank you very much.
Rita Trennis.
Good morning. My name is Rita Trionis, and I am here asking for help, cooperation, and communication between our county board, county-appointed agencies, Forest Preserve District, municipalities, and our citizens. There is an urgent intergovernmental and environmental issue happening right now in our county in unincorporated Lyle Township, just south of 75th Street. 32 acres of publicly held woodlands and wetlands are being threatened by development. This property contains more than 2,000 trees, provides habitat to multiple endangered and threatened species, and to numerous beneficial plant, animal, and insect species. It contains multiple sensitive wetlands, some of which are considered critical, depending on which report you consult. According to the Morton Arboretum's Chicago Region Trees Initiative program, this property is a rare, pre-settlement remnant oak ecosystem. This property is ecologically significant, and its environmental value exceeds any monetary one that could be ascribed to it. Only 17% of our oak forests remain. Are our forests not worth protecting and preserving for the benefit and enjoyment of all? As of now, this property is still government property under the stewardship of the DuPage Water Commission, a county board appointed agency, and therefore owned by the people. And the people have a right to know what's going on, and the right to care about what is happening with their property. And we do care, a lot. As of today, 2,500 people have signed a petition indicating that they care and that they are against this publicly held forest being destroyed for corporate gain. Is the best and highest use of undeveloped woodlands and wetlands demolition or preservation? I think the answer is obvious. Many of our representatives ran on environmental platforms and serve on environmental and sustainability-minded groups. Why have they been silent on this? Do their concerns start and end with performative photo ops and Facebook posts? The citizens want supportive action, not performative activism. Are we so desperate for housing that we need to be bulldozing forests and wetlands? The citizens don't think so. Is the DuPage Water Commission so desperate for money they need to be selling our land for more than its appraised value, while also petitioning for the annexation on behalf of a multi-billion-dollar corporation? This is publicly owned rare forest, publicly owned wetlands. The citizens of DuPage County want and deserve to have our precious natural resources protected. Citizens are used to having politicians ask us for support, especially during election season. Today, we need the support and resources from our elected representatives. Some of you have been responsive, some have been dismissive, some have opposed us, and many have just been silent. We need and deserve to have our concern taken seriously, to have our representatives not just listen, but take action to support our best interests, to have help, cooperation, and communication between our county board, county-appointed agencies, Forest Preserve, municipalities, and our citizens. We want our publicly owned woodlands and wetlands protected and preserved. Let's make that happen. Thank you.
Wendy Cianis.
Hello, good morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm not normally a public speaker and I'm not really prepared with a specific speech. I am here to support the zone variance. We've been so fortunate to get to know the Nelson family, and my daughter Ariana is one of the beautiful people that were in the picture that are looking forward to being a person that's living in this group home that they're developing. But I do want to stress, listening to all of these wonderful people speaking, seeing that beautiful award that the animals had received, just makes you really understand and know how we have to work as a community. Nobody can be in a silo, and that is incredibly true for people with disabilities. It was maybe 18 years ago, I was part of a coalition that wanted to close institutions. And I remember going to Springfield with Ariana, who was maybe 3 at the time, and speaking to all our representatives and saying, my goal for her, my dream for her is to live independently within her community, work within her community, be able to invite friends over, invite her family over, and have something that she can share and have that life experience that we all want for ourselves, that we want for our children, our grandchildren, nieces and nephews. We want for our animals to have that love and support. So I think when you are approached with this idea of voting for the zone variance, I really want you to keep that in mind, that what Dave has created, the Nelson family has created with their very way smarter than me ideas, is looking at not only coming up with this group home to support these wonderful adults, and I hope that we come up with more, but also a way for them to have some vocational training. One of our DuPage County school districts, District 203, offers a vocational training called Bloom Room. That experience has given her so much purpose, to the point where she made little beautiful flowers, not only for our local restaurants and businesses, but for my niece's wedding. And it was beautiful. It was something that she did. And I think, wow, this not only gave her purpose, but it gave her pride, and she was able to share it. And why couldn't it be a business? I mean, she's almost 22 years old, and we're still looking for a job. It's hard out there. And what we're trying to create is something that they can live together. They can have some vocational where we can give back to a community, perhaps a small business, and as well as having that support that we know that they need. So I really am here to support that variance, that zone. I hope that you will see that. And if any time you all are discussing amongst yourselves on how we can make it better, not only for these girls that we have now, but others, because it's a real big problem. And like I said, I had this discussion 17 years ago, and we're still talking about it. So thank you for your time.
Okay, just want to say, Ariana, you did a beautiful job of speaking. Thank you so much. Keep it up. Keep your voice loud. Okay. If the board has received public comment via our online portal per board policy, those comments were provided to members yesterday so they could be reviewed. Comments submitted electronically will be included in the minutes of this meeting. Okay, on the, where are we at? Hold on. Okay, this morning, as this is our first county board meeting since mid-July, I want to thank our county staff for all they did to keep residents safe, manage stormwater, and clear debris following 3 EF0 tornadoes that hit Wheaton, Glen Ellen, and Downers Grove. Our county saw significant damage all over due to a straight line, high wind speeds, knocking down trees, breaking branches, and downing power lines. And we have no idea what they're doing right now because it sounds like it's a repeat today. When you combine that with the power outages caused as a result of the storms of July 27th, it was a very rough week for our residents. Followed again by heavy rains and activation of the Elmhurst Quarry Saturday, August 1st. Thanks to our staff, regional and municipal partners who all pulled together to get the roads cleared, the water drained, the power restored, and for all those who worked overtime getting our communities back to business as soon as possible. And we'll be doing the same today. So let's keep them in our thoughts. Okay, we're going to move on to consent items. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We do have a presentation. Yep, here it is. Okay, this morning we're going to discuss some exciting changes in our county organization structure. Our staff has worked diligently to create a system that will help us achieve our attainable housing goals and provide the outstanding community services DuPage residents expect and deserve. Chief Administrative Officer Nick Kapmeyer and Human Resources Director Chris Clevenger are here to do a presentation to explain it to us.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Kind of interesting morning. Something new in all the years I haven't been here. We haven't done that. But very excited to excited and kind of sad to go through this. So I am happy to announce, in case if you guys don't know, our community service director, Mary Keating, will be retiring from the county after 27 years at the county and 17 years in her position as director. She has built an amazing department with an amazing group of people. I mean, you all know everything they do touches everybody in DuPage County. And so we've had many months of very thoughtful discussions about, okay, what do we do from here? What's the best way forward? And the one thing we did notice is there's no replacing Mary. We're not going to find she is a very much a homegrown talent that we've crafted the department around over the years, and she's taken on more and more responsibility, and it's worked great. But the problem is we're never going to find somebody who has that skill set. So what we're going to talk to you, Chris and I and Mary and a lot of other people in the chair. I mean, a lot of, we have been meeting for months, and we have come up with a proposal to potentially, you'll see it, split it in two. And so that's kind of the end result of this thing, but we'll go through it. Chris and I are going to do the presentation, and any questions you have, Mary's here as well. But so first, real quick, I mean, how the department is kind of classified right now. Mary's in charge of it. You have senior services, intake and referral, housing supports and self-sufficiency, family center, community development. It seems pretty simple, but go to the next slide. What that means, I mean, this is probably one of our most complicated departments we have here at the county. 5 divisions, almost 160 full-time and part-time people, 2 completely separate general fund budget, 1 special revenue budget, 22 grant budgets, total budget of about 36 million. They're responsible for court-directed services, direct client assistance. They're in hospitals. They're meeting with our senior citizens out there. She's been integral in, getting the housing and infrastructure development plan up and running. So as you can see, very complex, and that's what we've really looked at. Okay, where do we go from here? Next slide. So the factors in what we thought, the driving our reorganization, obviously retirement, we're not going to find a replacement. So how can we attract the right people here to further our goals as a county? Once again, I said before, the growth, the complexity of the community services programs and grants only getting more complex with the federal rules we're seeing, interpreting that, and we know that's going to keep going. The other thing that we wanted to incorporate in this reorganization one of our biggest initiatives that this board's had in the last couple of years and continues is our housing initiatives, the down payment assistance, the developer incentives, basically coming up with, our housing initiatives, what we want to do as a board, and how are we going to wrap that into what we're doing. And so that was also factored in. And then what we wanted to take this opportunity, this department has grown by necessity over the years. Certain things, adding on this service or that service or overseeing that, and it's become quite large. So we wanted to realign like services to not only be more efficient, maybe provide, other services, but be able to attract the right directors out there. And so that was kind of our thought. So next slide. And so that was kind of the direction that Chris and her team have run with. And so I'm going to turn over to Chris, and she's going to kind of say, okay, this is where we've gotten for our reorganization. Chris.
Good morning. So like Nick said, we did take a look holistically as the county board departments as a whole, and to kind of take this opportunity to just kind of touch on how we can best support services here at the county public. So some of the things that we determined during this assessment is a recommendation of proposing creating 2 departments out of what we have. So we feel that this could better support and develop the services, programs, and initiatives in the foreseeable future. One of that is the biggest thing is the creation of the new department, Housing and Community Development. That would be a standalone outside of community services. We looked at building and zoning division, and we recommend that we put that within the housing and community development department as well, that would be a good serve for that. We also looked at WorkNet. Currently, that department falls under human resources. We see an opportunity here to continue to strengthen the efforts of providing complete social services offered to our clients with this change. So moving that under community services. The other piece that we saw that we looked at was the family center. We looked to see if that could report to the circuit court office, as that group does work directly with the courts, and it may make better sense. So the next slide here gives you a better visual of what I was just talking about. And these are kind of the two departments proposed. Community services would consist of senior services, information referral, WorkNet, and housing support and self-sufficiency. Those are currently all under, except for WorkNet, under there currently. The Housing and Community Development Department is the new department, like we said, which would consist of community development, building and zoning, and potentially in the future, a housing initiative division as well. So depending upon how things develop is kind of the direction that we are proposing for consideration. So with this, on the next slide, what the impact for this proposal would be is the ask of one new full-time headcount for the Director of Housing and Community Development. So we anticipate or estimate that the hiring salary is going to fall somewhere between 185 and 192 to start. So that would be a new headcount added to the budget. Also, we, as Mary leaves us, we would like to do a double fill for a period of time of the Director of Community Services. We'd like to start on that recruitment quickly. And we also would like to have some crossover so we can have a smoother transition of knowledge and information from Mary to a new person. So we estimate the max that cost would be about $30,000 for that time period. Like we talked about a new division, that housing initiative staffing would to be determined. I think we would want to get that new director in, work with the board and the chair and other staff to kind of determine what that could look like. So that is kind of a to be determined, but those are kind of the impacts that we saw initially from this proposed change. And that is our presentation.
Can you go back 2 slides, please? Just want to talk a little bit about go forward one, I'm sorry. Yeah. So what we're trying to do here is we talked about, you can see on the community services side, we're trying to establish a department that has more wraparound services, that is more of a one-stop shop. WorkNet is a great fit in here. I mean, there's a lot of good things that we're trying to group together here. And the thought process is for the second one over there, as Chris said, the Housing Community Development Department, if we get the right person in, and we're talking national search for both of these, we get the right person in, they can help us kickstart what we want to do for the housing initiative, and all of those fit in well, and it's a full wraparound service. So we're pretty excited about moving this, splitting the department, and more importantly, Mary has agreed to stay on board while we do a national search for these and help us with the transition to make sure we don't lose a single thing as we move forward. So for splitting 2 departments, really only creating 1 new position, which would be a director, and the crossover cost of $30,000, it's pretty cost effective.
Okay, Member Desart.
Well, thank you for that presentation. I'm so sorry Mary is leaving, as I'm sure we all are. I think this sounds like okay, all of us but Mary. A couple of things. First of all, Nick, do we have anybody in-house rising to that level? You mentioned a national search, but do we have anybody in-house?
As with any position, we encourage internal applicants who are interested to apply, but we are going to do a far and wide search. We are going to put it on every board. We've actually developed the postings now. And if the green light is given today, and once again, we encourage internal, but we want to see what's out there, and we will pick the best candidate for both those director positions.
Okay, you said hiring one person, but it also said the housing staff to be determined. So I would imagine that, so based on that, we're hiring more people for the housing staff?
So the housing, whether we do this reorganization or don't do the reorganization, the housing staff was going to happen at some point. This board, depending on how you wanted to move forward with the housing initiative, that was needed. The difference here is we're going to get potentially an expert in that does this to help us decide what we need. So whether we did this reorganization or not, at some point we were coming to you and say, if you want to accelerate this housing initiative, we need to hire more people. I don't know if that's one person, two people, four people. I don't know. It depends where that initiative, and that is a decision for the board to make at a later date.
And then just one comment. I know that, Chair Conroy has been really focused on this housing initiative. And so I'm glad that we're seeing this, an organization specifically for this. Who will they both go to? You? Who will be the head of both of them?
I mean, ultimately they report to the board, but yes, I will do that. But we will also have Kate and Evan being highly involved in the management and oversight of those two departments.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Okay, Member Schwarzy.
Thank you very much. It's, losing Mary is a huge loss, and she has skills that you don't see in many people. Just a quick question, I think, for this committee to understand what parts are going to be pulled out of community service and be a little more specific, and Mary might have to be the one to answer this. What parts of community service are going to be pulled out and put into the housing department?
So most likely, some of this will depend on the strengths and the past experiences of the two department heads. So there are some, programs within community services that kind of sit in two worlds. For sure, the community development, which is the management of all of the HUD funds, that will absolutely go to the Housing and Community Development Department. If you think about the way the proposal works, is the Community Services Department will be really focused on grant-funded direct client services. That's really what all of those are. So things like LIHEAP, which is the energy assistance, will most likely stay in community services. We start to look at weatherization. That's direct client service, but it's also housing related. I would think weatherization will fall under housing because you want staff who understand sort of, home construction, rehabilitation work, how to go out to bid for contractors, those kinds of things. And so a little bit of it is to be determined. The homeless continuum of care is another one that could, it's very much planning and working with outside organizations, which is really community development work. But it's also has kind of a social service side to it in terms of knowledge of, the issues facing people experiencing homelessness. So I think, it's one of the reasons the department sort of became so big, was because there's so many things that are sort of intertwined with, between planning and direct client services. So, like I said, depending on what the backgrounds are of the two new department heads, I think there might still have to be some discussion. But there's a few that are, there's no question they'll end up in the housing side.
Okay, Member Galassi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Couple comments. I just want to thank Mary for her many, many years of wonderful service. Okay, fantastic. I did want to make a quick comment that being on the Human Services Committee, it is wonderful always seeing the awards for years of service. And I think that is a direct reflection of Mary's amazing managerial skills, because that is, really, truly a wonderful highlight of that committee. I did just want to ask if this is truly going to be a national search. I mean, particularly for the housing and community development role. I mean, that is you know, that is a very important position to be filled and very specific skill set. Are we going to be going out to executive search firms for that?
So we've been talking about that. So go ahead if you want to handle that.
So yeah, we've been talking about that. One, we're going to up our game on our promotion of this recruitment, doing brochures. Yeah, we see what our national search firms do. They do wonderful jobs. We're going to do our own efforts initially to promote this, as well as work with organizations and different boards that are specific to these fields. You know, that's where we feel we could try to attract the talent we're looking for. We, of course, will also consider the executive search as well. I mean, we would do that very quickly if we're not seeing a good response for our initial efforts, but we are really looking to do a higher level recruitment, and it's for these two positions.
Okay. I would just like to add, I know I've seen both sides of recruitment, and the level of expertise that executive search firms can bring is amazing and probably, in my opinion, needed for a role like this. So that would be my.
You might very well be right, and we will pivot very quickly. I know that I've seen, I mean, they have developed a brochure for this that I've never seen done before, like you see for like a village manager. I've seen that for across the country. So we're going to get, but if we don't find the right candidate, we are not going to settle for one that is not right for our organization.
The one thing an executive search firm can offer that I'm not sure that your staff would have the capacity to do just from a time perspective is actually reaching out and pitching this role to people across the country. And I mean, that's a big aspect of what executive, I mean, I'm happy to meet with you guys about this, but
yeah.
I mean, that's my background. I did it for 6 years, so I'm happy to discuss it, but they really have capacity to make targeted phone calls to people with this specific experience. And I'm not sure if your staff would have just the bandwidth to perform that. So
thank you.
Okay, Member Krajewski.
Yeah, two things. One, to pick up on what Member Galassi said too, being reach out to the national firms that actually do the affordable housing development, ask them which towns they did stuff in that had, or counties that had a good person to perform, and then actually go after them. But you know, now with all the knowledge, I guess, from Mary and how human services works, and over the years we get a lot of federal grants. It becomes more complex. It's a great opportunity now to look at how to deliver it most efficient to the residents. And I know one thing that the former CFO of Rayfek, when he was here, one of the things before he left he was going to start looking into was Will County had a model where they were taking some of these grants and pushing it down to some of the not-for-profits that actually do stuff in the community. And as you see, I think we saw stuff here. I can't remember what exactly it was, but when the state is administering some of these programs, the amount of costs from grants that are used just for staff is a lot more than when it's pushed down to the counties, because we're closer. And the farther you push it down, I think you get to the either municipalities or to the not-for-profits, they have more trust with the community. So there may be some programs we can push down these grants to the not-for-profits or the municipalities or townships to administer while we're looking at the reorg. I heard weatherization mentioned. I think we may be one of the only counties that has it internal. Isn't most counties that's external?
Most counties are external.
Yeah, I mean, those are things that we can look at, certain things that, now that we're reorganizing, that can deliver the most efficient services and have more of the money go to the individual residents that we're trying to help versus staff time on these grants. Like I said, we're better at doing it than the state. You can see all the state popping up with all the fraud, et cetera, but even just the salaries that it takes. And it's even, I remember years ago when we got, when roads are being done, if the state's doing a road, the same mile stretch costs more for the state to do it than when the county does it, and keeps going down because of that. So great opportunity to look at maybe pushing some things to different places down farther, to either municipalities, townships, or the local not-for-profits that actually are in the area and dealing directly with those residents.
That's a great point, and I'll tell you that if we get the right individual in, they're going to have different ideas, different concepts, and I think that's where it could be different in a year from now. The look that we have for our two departments could be totally different, and it all depends on the expertise we see coming in the door.
Okay, Member Cahill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My comments were similar to Member Krajewski. First of all, thank you, Mary. You are terrific. Absolutely the best. You cannot be replaced, and the citizens of DuPage will certainly miss you, and so will we. My second comment was just about the financing, the money, the accounting of it. So I think you're going to have to hire a couple extra people in each department. And maybe this is a time, like Brian says, to streamline those services, or, you know, the accounting for the grant monies, and see what we can do better in that area.
Okay, Member Garcia.
Thank you. And thank you, Mary, for staying a little bit to see this go through. So I'm so appreciative of that. You know what I think about you. I've been on many boards with you, and you cannot be replaced. Clarification. You had building and zoning underneath the housing one. So if the whole building and zoning department is going to go under there, and then how is that going to affect the
Let's go back to that slide, please. How will that affect
the building and zoning department?
So we are implementing more of a traditional type. Can you go back to the one slide that has the two divisions up? Yeah. So in the housing community development department, I mean, obviously the housing initiative is something different, but we are kind of implementing a more standard, the community development department, which is what most villages, municipalities, what they do. It's still building and zoning. I will tell you, it's a great department, and you know, it has great people in there. It's going to stay where it's at location wise, because it's a big one. But they're going to be integrated overall. You're still going to have, whoever is in charge of that. I mean, it's Jim Strand. And right now, moving forward, he's going to continue to be in charge of that. And then he would then be the one reporting up to the director of that department. But by having building and zoning, community development, housing initiatives, it provides some real opportunities for a broader look at services that can be offered to our residents.
Yeah, I see the advantages of having it. It's like a whole, looking at the whole picture, basically, in terms of the thing.
Yeah.
So
It's I will tell you, and I know the employees are like, what does this mean? They're not going to see hardly anything new, except potentially new opportunities to be involved in other items as well.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Member Yu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So first, I just want to say that I'm personally so sad to hear that you're going to be leaving, Mary. All your experience and expertise and your character and personality, I mean, we're really going to miss you. So second, I just want to say I'm really glad to see that Family Center is now going to be moving over to the Circuit Court. When I first took a tour of the Family Center with Member Evans, I remember thinking it wasn't the right fit, that it was under community services. Thought that was a little strange. So glad to see that that's going to be changing. Also, I really do appreciate this proposed new structure with regard to WorkNet being under community services as opposed to HR. I also see that there's a good fit there. Certainly, I think when people are going through the self-sufficiency program, and I think they're trying to find employment and training and that kind of thing to kind of funnel them through WorkNet. And I don't think that, like, maybe that relationship hadn't been solidified before. Maybe it wasn't working out very well or something. That's kind of what I remember learning about it. So I'm hoping that will be a really good, strong relationship. I'm just wondering, how does this change with our committees? Because WorkNet is under economic development, building and zoning is under development, but it now will be under these different structures. So I'm just wondering.
So that is a great question. We've actually talked about that. We don't see too much of a change for the committee structure, because obviously the housing initiatives, that's when we got to figure out where does that go to. There's many departments that have multiple committees they have to report to, but clearly I don't see any of that changing. There are certain aspects of community development that would go over to maybe building and zoning. So there'd be a little bit of back and forth, but as far as the committees, you will retain all the committees that we have.
Okay, thank you.
Member Eckhoff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know we've had housing as a goal, or more affordable housing as a goal for a while, but I think if we're going to look for a new person or someone to carry that banner going forward, we need to identify maybe as a county what our goals are in terms of doing that, because we've recognized that we only have 10% of the land in the county. So I would think lots of times when we talk about, well, what do we want to do with affordable housing? The answer is always, well, we want more. And I think we need to specify what this person needs as qualifications. Is he going to be somebody with technical knowledge? Is he somebody who's going to have to go out and talk to the municipalities one-on-one to get them involved? Is he going to be involved in zoning? Because I know it's been a agenda item for a long time, but I don't see us having made a whole lot of progress in deciding how we're going to accomplish the goal. And I think that's what we need to sort of figure out before we go out and find somebody to accomplish what we want. And so that's maybe something we talk about before
Member
staff.
Eckhoff, I have to disagree with you on this. The amount of work that has been done in the housing field area by this board and by our employees, we have everything. We feel very confident. Not only have we pretty much structured what we're looking for, but we also changed the law so that we have the ability to do what we have been initiating.
I know staff and the board and Mr. Tornatore and prior chair for the committee have done a ton of work. And we did change the zoning law to allow mother-in-law house with various houses and areas, but we only have 10% of the land. So what are we asking this person to come in and do? To put the affordable housing on that land, to get the municipalities involved? How many units is reasonable for DuPage County to be able to add? That I've never had that answered. It just
and member Eckhoff, I don't know that we are not in the business of building housing. That would come through builders that would look for our support. There's many different ways of doing it. We're looking at this from many different factions, and working with our municipalities has been a very important part of what we're doing, which is why I meet with my mayors and managers on a regular basis. So they're aware
that we do that at the intergovernmental committee too, where we haven't done that. I'm just saying, let's establish a couple of goals. Land acquisition could be one of them. You asked for budget suggestions, and that was one of the ones I made. So
yeah,
anyway,
currently we're looking at, and in the housing meetings we've spoken about the clean and lean property we currently have. We're not currently looking to purchase new land.
Okay, well, just an idea. Thank you.
Anybody else? Did I get everybody? Oh, Member Schwarze.
Since no one else had any questions, I think it's fair to remind this board that almost 2 years ago, Mary Keating was ready to retire. She stuck around to help us get through the federal changes and all the concerns that happened there. So thank you very much for sticking around much longer than you really wanted to.
I would like to say, and Mary and I are kind of the old guard a little bit. We started about the same time at the county, and she's done amazing work. And you're right. She was ready to probably consider retirement around COVID, and she has stayed on just to make sure her department, the program she has, continue on. So I can't thank her enough for how she's leaving the department and helping us through this transition as well.
I just like to add to that we would not have what I consider to be one of the best housing perspective plans without Mary leading us through that, and also Chair Sam Tornatore. There's been an incredible amount of work done, as well as Kate with legislative. So without Mary's leadership, I don't believe we would be where we are today. So I've done everything I can to keep her as long as possible, and I'm grateful for every day that we have.
So ultimately, I guess it's not approval or anything, but I just want to see if it's okay. We would like to start the national search ASAP to see what's out there and have as much crossover as possible with Mary. And if that's the will of the board,
I hope so, because we need to get this person as soon as we can, because we want them to spend as much time with Mary as possible. So do we have Okay. All right. Thank you. We have consensus to move forward.
So we will begin the search, and then at the next board meeting, you will see a resolution to add headcount, but we will start the search before we add headcount, which is fine because we're obviously not going to fill the headcount, but I just want the board to be aware of that. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. I seek a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Okay. 26-21-58 DuPage County Board regular minutes. Meeting minutes Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. 26-19-58 7-10-2026 pay list. 26-19-56 7-10-2026 Corbel wire transfer. 26-19 63 714 2026 pay list. 26 19 96 717 2026 pay list. 26 2018 721 2026 pay list. 26 2047 723 2026 auto debit pay list. 26 20 53 724 2026 pay list. 26 20 74 728 2026 pay list. 26 20 91 729 2026 public works refunds pay list. 26 21 16 731 2026 pay list. 26 21 34 84 2026 pay list. 26 1959 county recorder's monthly revenue statement June 2026. 26 2048 treasurer's monthly report investments and deposits June 2026. 26 21 36 change orders to various contracts as specified in the packet. All in favor? Okay, so moved. We're going to move on to County Board and Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will entertain a motion on CBR 4126, ordinance to present a public question via countywide referendum abolishing the office of the coroner and establishing the office of DuPage County Medical Examiner.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Let's have some discussion. Members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to thank members Cahill, Galassi, Evans, Krajewski, Eckhoff, and Tornatore for agreeing to put this on the agenda. Again, this is just a discussion. We've had past boards have had discussions about eliminating positions. We've had discussions on the auditor's position, the recorder, and the election commission, which we ultimately merged with the clerk's office. So this is nothing new. This is just discussion to talk about this office. I want to thank Evan Shields for his memo that really was detailed, that laid out everything for us, and the state's attorney's office for the referendum language. You know, we talk about offices, and we heard today from the recorder how great it is to keep your people. And I never thought until about a month and a half ago we would be having this discussion, but we've seen major issues at the coroner's office, and it's unfortunate. You know, we've had great coroners in the past. Instead of coming here and asking for other things, we were getting presentations on opioids and overdoses and things like that, and the battle for that, and the starting of the Hope Task Force, which has moved on and to another that keeps continuing to grow, but that seems not to be part of it. There just seems to be issues there. When we have a coroner come here and say that she needs more people so she can follow Illinois state statute, and then in her presentation say she's not doing thorough death investigation, should scare everybody in this room. Is this position in mind to be elected? Should a coroner be elected, or should we have somebody who's a medical examiner, who's a professional, that can deal with people probably at the worst time of their lives when they're dealing with the death of a family member or a friend, a colleague, whatever. And we just seem to have an issue here with this. And again, this isn't that we can debate it back and forth. This is to let the voters decide. Not for us here. This question today is to let the voters decide if we should do that. And from what I've seen, again, do we make this a medical examiner that's appointed by the chair, that's then approved by the county board, that becomes a county department? There we would see issues. I mean, right now we just got a letter the other day with issues. We've heard about issues there about dogs being in offices that we thought was taken care of, but obviously it's not. I mean, we need professional people in there. And I know elections, you know, have consequences, but in a position like this, when we can make changes and have a medical examiner in there to make these decisions, I think it just needs discussion and bearing from this board, because I'd hate to see, obviously we wouldn't get rid of the coroner, there'd still be 2 years on this term, it would be following. And even if we decide not to put it on countywide referendum for this November, We can always do it in a municipal election, or we can get the 18,000 signatures to put it on the referendum. So there are options. Again, I think the best option is to let the voters make that decision, and then their decision then will be, what our constituents and our voters want. So thank you.
Okay, before we start the discussion, I just want to clarify, we do have a medical examiner. We are fortunate enough in DuPage County to have a full-time medical examiner. Most counties outside of Cook County do not have that. They have to wait for a medical examiner to come. So we do have that. In general, I'm pretty sure that this will not save us any money. I'm always about government consolidation if we can save money. I don't see that in this situation. I think it could cost us more money. So who was first? Galassi?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to mention that reading some of the public comments that we got about what's happening at the coroner's office was very alarming and eye-opening to me. And just kind of sad, to be honest, because I know previously it was ran so well. And I mean, I'm a dog lover as much as anyone. I have 2 dogs. I can't imagine bringing an untrained dog to my office as an elected official and expecting my staff to deal with feces and urine from my pet. And I was just shocked to read some of that. I think the important distinction here is that if we put this as a referendum, this still would be up to the voters. And secondly, this would not take place until the current coroner's term expires. So I just think that this is an important decision, and I think leaving this up to the voters to decide this is something that I strongly support, because in my opinion, what's happening at the coroner's office right now is just not acceptable. Thank you.
Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I saw this on the agenda and I did a little research and made a couple of notes. I know this is just a discussion, but number one, we were told there would be a presentation, not just a discussion on this issue, not jump right into this and put it on the agenda and then vote. And that doesn't seem transparent to me. Number two, on June 28th, they sent Nick an email and asked what specifically each job does, what the salary expectations of each job, how many counties in Illinois have coroners versus medical examiners. Does DuPage County have a medical examiner? And the chair just said, yes, we have a full-time medical examiner. So the coroner runs the office. So instead of the presentation, I did get the email from Evan. He sent it out July 10th. And there's no opportunity for the board to discuss. I mean, I could have sent specific questions to Evan, but I think this is a healthy discussion that the whole board is having together to debate the issues. Now, regarding Illinois and the number of county coroners versus medical examiners, only Cook County has a medical examiner versus a coroner. The other 101 counties have a coroner. The Cook County Chief Medical Examiner, Dr. Pani Arun Kumar, makes $350,000 to $412,000 a year, or about $198 per hour. Our coroner makes $151,362 plus a state stipend of $6,500 plus a vehicle allowance of $5,400 for a total of $163,262, with a population of almost a million people. The average salary of a coroner in Illinois is $104,000. So I also have the names and the salaries for each coroner in Kane, Kendall, Will, Grundy, Kankakee, and Lake counties right here, but I'll save you all the time and let you do your own research. Number three, and this is a big one, why are we discussing this referendum on coroner versus medical examiner now when a Democrat heads that office? The topic has never, ever, ever come up before. Look, this is not a transparent governance issue. There's not enough time to educate the public on this topic, period. Throwing this question on the November ballot with no explanation is not transparent government. It's obvious. Personally, you don't like Judy Lucas, but you know what? The majority of DuPage County voters elected her in a free and fair election. The decisions about county government should be based on what is best for DuPage County residents, what serves them best. And over the long term, we all come and go. All of us are going to come and go off this board. But this change in governance, coroner versus medical examiner, is going to last forever. Because of your personal beef against this one person. So I'm voting to keep the coroner's office because that is what's best for DuPage County, not who is in the office, but the office itself. Thank you.
Okay, Member Covert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the coroner oversees the office of the coroner. They do not personally conduct an autopsy, just like the chair said. We have a medical examiner to do that job. The coroner is just there to make sure that they are representing on the behalf of the voters, to make sure that the office is being run correctly. Elections exist for a reason. If a coroner is doing a bad job, then the voters make that decision during a re-election period. But to have the coroner appointed would take away the voters' decision as to whom becomes the coroner in the future.
Okay, I'm told we can continue, and it was Member Covert that was speaking.
Yes, thank you. And then lastly, I would like to say that I too received a letter, a couple of letters. I believe it was one or two letters, emails from a couple of people who were complaining or accusing the current coroner. And my initial reaction, when I read these things, is not that I believe it right away and that's it, I'm convinced. I would like to give the opportunity to the coroner to maybe, give us her story, because there's always two sides of issues. So I wouldn't believe things right away, but I do want to look into it and see if these are factual statements, if they're correct. And I also want to give the opportunity to the coroner, if she would like to come in and talk about the work that she's doing, instead of making a rash decision today that would change the structure of the coroner's office.
Okay, Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. During this break, I asked our state's attorney, unfortunately, Illinois does not have a recall procedure, because that would give the voters a within term opportunity to perhaps remove someone from office. So that's a whole other issue. But the way I see this is that it is currently an elected position. Should the chair, and nothing personal, but should the chair be appointing this position, there's no guarantee that this person would be any better, worse, etc. The person currently holding the job is a licensed medical professional, although I don't believe the state requires this job to have a specific medical degree or certification. So as far as I can tell, I think the idea of a referendum, it would cause expense, confusion, and there's really no guarantee, as I said, that the chair position would necessarily appoint someone who would do the job differently. People can certainly discuss this. If the coroner wanted to discuss it in front of the board, that would be fine. The letter we received yesterday from an employee who has just resigned was very disturbing, and I think it's certainly good for transparency that we are all aware of what's going on there. And I certainly hope that the coroner will take note that this discussion is happening today. But I don't support this. The voting booth is where we decide who should hold these offices. And hopefully things will improve over there. But at the time being, I don't know what else to say. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The question that we have to ask ourselves with this is, what are we trying to accomplish here? I think this is a very good conversation, but I don't want it to look like we're trying to attack our coroner. This is not coming from a vacuum, though. Where is this coming from? Well, this started in part, we recently voted on a resolution authorizing the addition of one full-time headcount to the staff of the coroner's office. Not only did we question the coroner's need for the additional headcount, but there are questions about the timing of the request, which was in the middle of the fiscal year. during the budget process for FY 2027 and also during active contract negotiations with unions. It is my understanding that staff from the County Board Office and the Finance Department have tried to work with the coroner to guide her on finance, staffing requests, and procurement procedures. Our coroner was elected less than 2 years ago, and I understand this role is a learning process for her. Even more concerning, though, is that we received a public comment from a past employee which detailed many troubling issues at the coroner's office. If even some of these claims are true, this needs to be addressed before 2028. To ignore problems with performance, workplace morale, and staffing issues at the coroner's office until 2028 will affect the integrity of the office and erode public trust. I want to make it clear that this is not a personal attack. To expect an elected official to do their job. I really want our coroner to succeed, and I hope she is taking this discussion to heart and looking for ways to do better. Thank you.
Okay, Member Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I see this as two different topics. One, we're spending a lot of time discussing the performance of the coroner. And whether you think she's doing a good job or a bad job, it's kind of, at this point, the voters have already spoken on that issue. They have spoken and they voted for that position. My thought is that I will always be against removing the vote out of the people's hands. If we think that she's not doing a good job, there's remedies for that. It's called elections. You can unelect her just like she got elected. There's many people walking through DuPage County that is probably just as or more than qualified to do that job. We don't take the position and say, okay, well, we have a coroner that is not doing what we feel she should be doing. Let's just get rid of the whole position. So where does that stop? Do we decide, 6 years from now that we don't like the treasurer? Let's get rid of that position. We don't like the recorder of deeds. Let's get rid of that position. Just start getting rid of stuff. These are key pieces of how our government operates and how it should function. And to just start to eliminate positions based on one person, right or wrong, good or bad in that position, just doesn't seem to be the most productive use of our time. Thank you.
Member Garcia.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to clear up that I'm really glad that you said that we do have a medical examiner. And that medical examiner's job is to do the autopsies and to do the work of the doctor of terms of determining the cause of death. And that's what people need to know. The coroner is a whole different job, in my opinion. It is the administrative piece of that office. It's somebody that runs the office and makes sure that the people are being treated fairly, that the work is being done correctly. And though I may not agree all the time with what our coroner is doing, because we have one person in an office, that does not mean we eliminate the office. This could have happened historically many, many times before for people that maybe were not doing the job that we did. What happened is they were voted out of office, and that's what we should be doing. And so I think this is a great conversation. I'm hoping there are some remedies to actually help the coroner perhaps do her job better and work together with her staff so there is less frustration. But I don't believe that this is cause for eliminating a whole elected office. Thank you.
Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So everybody on this board that has spoken has said something that I agree with. I certainly feel the frustration. With regards to appointing a medical examiner, I'm not sure that is even the right position, even though it sounds like it should be. I mean, I've been told by some people in the lawyer field that this is more of even a legal position, and and then we're talking that maybe it's a management position. But ultimately, I agree with Member Childress said, and Member Garcia said, you don't really want to take any elected official out of the hands of the voters. Let them decide, and I would be opposed to making this change. Thank you.
Member Krajewski.
Thank you. There's a couple things. I mean, why now with this referendum? I think it was when the coroner presented to us before. If I had my way, I'd put a referendum on for a home rule and take Springfield away from deciding what we do. And I would also bring back, I myself and Member Healy, joined by Member Ozog and a recorder who was up there, Member Chaplin, when she was a board member, and two other Democrats. We brought forward reducing the size of this board from 18 to 12. And we couldn't get that through. But again, governments eliminate positions all the time. Springfield used to have, 177 state reps. And 1980, they reduced the size of their senators and state reps down to whatever it is now, 118 state reps. But that happens a lot. But I think why now? And if we just run back that presentation, if we just show that to the public, that was scary. When the recorder presented to us and said that she needed this extra staff person to comply with state statute. I asked the question 3 times if we are in compliance with state statute, and she never could answer yes. She went and talked about other things in Lake County and this, and I kept asking the question. Finally, our state's attorney got up and said yes. But she also said, we're not doing adequate investigations, which I know sent a chill down every state's attorney's office and state's attorney hearing that. Every defense attorney is going to be playing that the office is not doing thorough investigations. And I know that happened with the state's attorneys. We can ask them. In addition, I asked a question there about, an issue that maybe came up. And last week or 2 weeks ago, I was with Nick and Barb talking about something else. And we called and asked, and I can't talk about it now because it's an internal investigation still ongoing. But again, that has significant ramifications. I would rather put the trust in the chair with confirmation of the board. It's not the chair's only pick, but that the chair would pick somebody, and then at least 9, it's tied, 10 board members need to approve that position. But I think that's an important position. The other stuff, we get elected officials that come and go that, on both sides of the aisle that we have issues with, whether they're getting involved in union contracts, potentially causing lawsuits there. Those things happen with elected officials, but I think this is an important position based on just watching that video and not being able to even say if we're in compliance with the state statute, and also that we're not doing thorough investigations. That has a ton of ramifications potentially down the road for every case that comes in front of the county and the state's attorney's office. I would be in favor of putting this out to the voters. But again, I would have other ones I'd rather put out in front of this one. Thank you.
Member Cahill. Thank you, Madam Chair. I signed the letter for discussion today because I believe in healthy discussion. I wanted to learn more. I was here at that JPS meeting and witnessed that whole conversation with our coroner, and it was troubling, along with the letters that we received. But I spent a week this past week down at University of Illinois in an Edgar Fellows program, and I sat next to a coroner from Southern Illinois. And he's been a coroner there for 20 years. And he made a really great point that this is why I'd like to gather more information. He said that the most important reason to have a coroner over a medical examiner is a coroner can conduct a coroner's inquest. He believed, now maybe a medical examiner cannot do a coroner. He told me that a medical examiner is the final say on the cause of death. And a coroner, if you have a position of a coroner, they can then look into an inquest, which is a formal public fact-finding inquiry led by the coroner to determine who died, when, where, and how that death happened. And so to me, I thought, well, we want that flexibility. We want a coroner to be able to conduct a coroner's inquest if a family has, concerns about the verdict from the medical examiner. So I want to know more information, but my point at this time is I would like to keep the coroner position. I would like to get our current coroner help, and someone get in there and help her and advise her to clean up that office. Member Galassi.
Thank you. One point I just wanted to make that was mentioned earlier by another board member was that, you know, the voters speak and then that coroner has her term, his or her term for 4 years. It was also mentioned that our county does not have the ability to recall a position that's been voted on. So that's where my concern lies is, and that's why I would support an appointed coroner or an appointed medical examiner, because when somebody is in such an important position like the coroner, and we're getting red flag after red flag after red flag, if this was an appointed position, that then the chair could decide to replace that person before the 4 years is up. And right now we do not have the ability to do that. So it is very concerning to me that we have all these red flags and yet our hands are tied. And this isn't the first time that this has happened within an elected role. I know we're specifically talking about the coroner right now. I also just wanted to make a comment about the partisanship comments that have been taking place and why now. I think it is apparent the why now because of the red flags that have come up. But I also want to make the point that personally, I don't think the coroner position should be a partisan role. It's a very technical role. But in addition to that, if the chair is responsible for appointing the medical examiner, then you know that medical examiner is likely to be of the same political party that the chair is. And then if the board has to confirm that appointment, same thing, same answer, then that position, that person is likely to be of the same political party that the board is. So the partisan argument to me doesn't hold because you know, it is going to be appointed by someone of a particular party, and the board then needs to confirm, and board members each have their own political affiliation. So I think, you know, the political affiliation or partisan comment doesn't really hold here. And what's more important to me is that if somebody is not doing a good job in their office, we should be able to do what truly is best for the citizens of DuPage County and have a competent coroner or competent medical examiner. And right now, we do not have any ability to recall or change course if that's not happening. Thank you.
Member Zay. Yes, I might have a comment, but go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, thank you, board members, for the discussion. Just a few things. I did ask Chair Evans of JPS to put this on the last agenda because of budgets. It was deemed there wasn't enough time. So I did try to get this not right to the county board. We had to do it today to get it on the agenda or get it on the referendum for the ballot. So that's why it came up with no further discussion in committees. You know, again, I was on this board, we can ring the bell, when we had 24 board members here. We have 18 now. We served as forest preserve commissioners. We split off. So change is okay. And that didn't go through the voters. That went through Springfield. That wasn't made a referendum question. Ultimately, when we say the voters have to say, this would be the same thing. Do the voters want to change it in 2 years and have a medical examiner? Which, again, this is not anybody can be appointed the medical examiner. They have to have the certification. I mean, we're lucky right now that our forensic pathologist is also a certified medical examiner. But again, I wouldn't use saving money. We just talked about having a new position that's going to cost us anywhere from $180,000 to $190,000 for the housing committee, but we're concerned about one position that I think is entitled to, you know, again, a medical examiner when people are struggling, that they can do that. Again, I hopefully this won't be the last discussion we have. And again, I don't take this personal. This was just something that came up after we saw the performance a few weeks ago. And I hope if it doesn't pass, again, we have other alternatives and we have more time to discuss it. So I appreciate the discussion with the board. Thank you.
Okay. Just a brief comment. Being an elected official is a privilege. That privilege comes with a lot of responsibility. It also comes with a lot of scrutiny. In this case, there are valid reasons for scrutiny. There are valid reasons for concern. I do believe that we don't eliminate an elected position just because of one bad player or one player with challenges. I will offer the support of my office to help her through some of these challenges, and perhaps there are other areas where I think maybe some of our attorneys can help as well, particularly with our union challenges that we've been having with that office. But I personally would not, if I had a vote, support eliminating this elected position because of one challenge. We have a second, and we're going to do a roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Member,
Claire,
Yep.
the vote here isn't to eliminate the position, it's to merely put a resolution
the
on
elected
the ballot
position.
and let
Yeah.
the voters decide.
It would be eliminating an elected position.
Right, but
Yes.
we're not voting to do that. We're voting just to have an on the
yes.
referendum
Yeah.
resolution on the ballot. Okay.
Yep. Okay, roll call, please.
Member Childress,
No.
Member Covert, Member Desart, Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Evans, Member Galassi,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
No.
Member Heather, Member Honig, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Martinez, Member Ozog, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu, Member Zay, and Member Cahill.
Aye. Okay. Okay, with 6 ayes, 11 nays, 1 absent, motion fails. Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Childress, and we'll move on to Finance and Member Garcia.
Oh, that's me.
That's it. Last time I checked.
Sorry, I was reading something. Real quickly for my committee chairs, I'm going to make them real quick here because I know we're really running late. But I did want to repeat in this board that I'd like to give a heads up on action that they will see on a future agenda on the finance committee. That we've seen our costs for our health insurance costs skyrocket, and we're going to require a substantial budget transfer from contingencies. We've had conversations with our consultant, Marsh McLennan, to make sure that we're doing everything we can to stay on top of the situation. On the positive note, if you can even call it positive, everyone is seeing an increase in insurance costs. They are increasing nationwide. Marsh McLennan will give us a larger update at a future meeting, the finance meeting, but I wanted to let this committee also know that we are monitoring this closely and we will keep you informed of what is happening. I make a motion to approve FIR 010926, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Family Violence Coordinating Council Grant, Program Year 27. This is in the amount of $52,000 for the 18th Judicial Circuit Court.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Heather, Member Honig, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Martinez, Member Ozog, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu,
Aye.
Member Zay, Member Cahill, Member Childress, Member Covert,
Aye.
Member Desart, Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Evans, and Member Galassi.
Hey, Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 011026, acceptance and appropriation of the DuPage Housing Authority Family Self-Sufficiency Program, Program Year of 26, in the amount of $169,000 for community services.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 011126, a correction of a scrivener's error in resolution FIR 009326 for community services.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
Make a motion to approve FIR 011226, approval of funding to Green Halo Scholars in the amount of $30,000 for college access and success programming, ARP interest.
Okay, a member Desart for a question.
Thank you. I don't have a question. I just had a couple of comments. When I first ran for election, the Indian Prairie Board of Education in 2009, I ran on the platform of transparency, and that's still how I roll. I support these wonderful organizations and the incredible work that they do. In fact, my dad was involved in a service organization, the Kiwanis, for many, many years. But we have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers. There is so much wrong with the process here, not the organizations, but the non-transparent process. First of all, nowhere does it mention that this is a member initiative. The documents say the county seeks to provide. So a resident reading the agenda would have no way of knowing that this is a member initiative sponsored funding. And that brings me to my second point. These are three organizations are asking for a total of $85,000 for District 3 members. In District 3, two of the members are running for re-election in 2.5 months, Member Krajewski and Member Galassi. And I'm sure these grants are being offered for altruistic reasons from our members. I do. But to the public, it looks like buying votes. For this to be a fair and transparent process, I strongly suggest that the $1.5 million ARPA interest funds not be considered for disbursement until after the November election. Otherwise, this looks like using taxpayer dollars to buy votes, which they might think is unethical. Next, how are the dollar amounts determined? There's no budget attached, so I believe there needs to be some solid documentations of how $30,000 was picked for each of these organizations. The resolutions for each organization says only that these dollars are, quote, to pay for eligible expenses incurred through November 30, 2027, but they don't break it down. What is the breakdown of the funding? The Westmont grant covers clothing, food, personal items without a breakdown. It doesn't say how much money will be used for food, how much will be used for personal items, how much to be used for clothing. And with all three grants, there are no clear deliverables. How many households are served food, blankets, winter coats, etc. There's no transparency and no accountability here. In fact, we don't even know if the board members have a relationship with these organizations. Nothing establishes how the money will be spent. We will get receipts afterward, but shouldn't the board know beforehand what these taxpayer dollars are going toward? Again, the concern isn't the organizations. The concern is whether the public and frankly the board members understand exactly how these grants were initiated, why these organizations were selected, and how the dollar amounts were determined. Then, what is the measurable benefit taxpayers would expect in return? I just listened again to the ARPA interest grant program discussion from our July 14th meeting, and I was scratching my head then, I'm scratching it now. Where are the guardrails? Where's the transparency? In past years, I have wholeheartedly supported each and every one of my colleagues' grant requests, every single one. But I think now when I look at these, the lack of policy regarding these grants, it reminds me of downstate Illinois State Rep Carol Amons. She's in a whole lot of trouble, indicted for allegedly directing taxpayer grant money to nonprofits that employ her daughter. Is it true? I don't know. She hasn't been convicted yet. But even the sniff of buying votes or any other unethical behavior for that matter has me concerned for the reputation of this board, and I will be voting no for these three projects.
Okay, Member
Until the
Desart.
process, I'm sorry, I still have the floor. Until the process becomes more transparent and hopefully with a new board after the November election. So I'm going to call for a roll call, please.
Okay, Member Desart, I just need to reply to one of your strong statements, and that is there is an ethics piece of this that does go through, that does ask if there is any relationship between the board member and the grantee. I'd also like to point out that you didn't bring up any of these issues when we were granting to your pet projects. I will move on to Member Evans.
No, I'm sorry. I get to rebuttal because
I didn't
my
use,
pet
I didn't
projects,
use your name.
my ex
I did
projects.
not use your name. And to
in the
say that
other
Carol,
process.
bring Carol Amons up
You're
with
wrong.
your
You're wrong.
colleagues.
I can see that you have a lot of feelings about this, but what you said was just wrong. Thank you.
Most of what you said was wrong. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to speak to what the prior board member said. The transparency is that we are discussing this on the board. We put it on the agenda. We have all the documentation there. If anybody has questions, they're free to ask, and they usually get answered very adequately. This is a lot of work to bring something to the board. So anytime a county board member decides to bring an initiative here, I can appreciate all the work that they put into it. And these three organizations are not District 3 organizations. They cover several districts and they help a lot of people. So I just want to offer my support for these initiatives and say that, this is not the appropriate time to talk about other politicians. This is not buying votes. That's insulting. So I support these organizations, and I hope we can just be supportive of helping people, which is what these organizations do.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
just as a sidebar, I will never allow a board member to insult the rest of my board members without speaking up. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we need to turn it down a little bit. You know, I respect all our board members, and everybody runs for office for certain reasons. And I think one thing we all have in common is that we run for office because we want to help people, not to buy votes or to do anything else. I mean, that means there's a primary season. So would we not do any action starting in when we start passing petitions in September and not do anything almost for a full year before, because that could be construed as buying votes? I've never heard that ever brought up here, and I hate to say almost my 27 years here, and I'll ring the bell later for me. But again, that's just misguided. When somebody brings something forward, it's usually those organizations are bringing attention to those board members saying, hey, we do this, we could use your help. I don't think they're out there seeking people to say, hey, this is the best bang for my dollar that I'm going to get during election season. So again, I think we need to turn it down a little bit. Again, we're here to do the people's work, to help people. I think that's why we all got involved in government, and to say that it's just out of line. And again, I have something on the agenda today, so I hope someone's not going to bring up that I'm actually out there buying votes, but again, trying to help an organization that serves people and serves people in our communities.
Member Galassi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Few remarks about the initial comments. I did find that insulting. I just want to lay that out there. I do believe this process to be incredibly transparent. To accuse any other board member of trying to buy votes when they are simply trying to better DuPage County and support the individuals in DuPage County is incredibly insulting. That is clearly not what I'm trying to do. I am trying to support Green Halo Scholars, who I believe is doing great work for the residents of DuPage County. Interestingly, I had this plan to say before the comments that were originally stated. Green Halo Scholars doesn't just support District 3, it also supports District 2. And what I was going to add is it also supports District 5. They support Naperville Central, Wheaton Warrenville South, and Naperville North. And they have goals of supporting all the high schools in DuPage County. So this is not just a District 3 initiative. This is not just a Carrie Galassi initiative. I am doing this because I believe strongly that this is a very good asset and benefit to our DuPage County residents. I also had some good news to share about Green Halo Scholars. They had a fundraiser last week and raised over $60,000. I just wanted to mention that because they really are doing the best that they can just to get community outreach to support their good works, in addition to looking for grant funding. Finally, another bit of good news is Amari, one of the amazing speakers that was here, did in fact win the $75,000 scholarship that he applied for. So thank you for giving me the floor. And I just want to close by saying I put my head on my pillow every night knowing that I'm doing the best that I can in my elected role. And I believe that bringing this grant forward is doing just that.
Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yesterday, the President of the United States, when discussing new vaccine policies, claimed that he had seen pop bottle-sized vaccinations sent into children. We are living in very bizarre times. We are living in very divisive times, which is really unfortunate. But I must say, I currently have a request for a community group in the pipeline, and I am really insulted at the idea because it truly never occurred to me that I was buying votes. This is very insulting. And as a group, we expect to work together, whatever our party designations may be. And just because we are running for office, which I am, does not mean that our duties and that our initiatives come to a grinding halt for the next 2 months, 6 months, however long it's been since we first started doing petitions. It's part of the process, but it certainly is very cynical and really misinformed, reminding me of the pop bottle sized vaccinations that we heard about yesterday, to infer that we are buying votes. I mean, this is helping the community, directly helping the community. The initiative that I'm working on, directly helping the community. So let's not go there, because we do, as a rule, tend to work well together and have respect for one another. But this was completely, just completely not expected or deserved. Thank you.
Member Kajewski.
Thank you. I had a few members that talked about the programs that we did in the past and maybe bringing them back. So I actually talked to the chair about if we were doing that. The chair said that just bring the individual ones forward. And there was a number of not-for-profits who have gotten them in the past who actually were asking about it. So when said bring them forward, I just relayed that information. We got those, 3, and actually I'm supporting Repeat Boutique, who's coming up. Lynn gave that nice presentation in District 6, and I've toured that facility. But so sent to the organizations, they came back with their submittals. The Westmont Lions Club, I mean, it's probably more District 2 of Westmont than District 3. I mean, the tracks are the separating line. So that's both District 2 and District 3. The president of the Lions Club is also elected a trustee in Westmont. It's actually sitting in the back there, and is a Democrat. And he's the one that's the president of this Lions Club. So again, I don't care what the party designation is. These people do good work in there. Evidently, I heard the Democrats had a picnic on Sunday that got rained out because the president of the Lions Club at Westmont that we're trying to give $30,000 to said he was at the picnic that got rained out. So again, that's a Democrat, and then but he doesn't care about party affiliation either. He's doing what's best for the town of Westmont, and the Lions Club are really providing great, stuff in their community. So again, it's more than District 3. It's District 2 and 3. And as Member Galassi pointed out, Green Halo does multiple ones. Yeah, I'm helping District 6 there.
Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I just wanted to point out that, we did these small human services grants for I think we had 3 rounds of them. And we put an end to it. And look, I was the leader behind and put an end to it because I felt like we needed to use this money for food. And the majority of the board agreed with me. So really a thanks to you for bringing this back in its new sort of morph form and allowing each of us to reach out to organizations that we care about to be able to get them money to do good things for our community. So thank you very much. And I just, we're very grateful that you were able to bring this back to us. Thank you.
Member Heather.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The moment we received that email about the nonprofit / government funding information, I was super excited. Some nonprofits started reaching out to me. Sometimes, and in other cases, I was reaching out to the organizations that have been doing amazing work in my district. And that's how it goes. It doesn't mean that one is trying to incur favor with the other. We all get a vote, and all of our votes have equal weight and equal value. We can all choose to vote in favor of something or against something. We can also disagree on voting for something or not, but we still have to be respectful to each other. We cannot accuse each other of having these shady, underhanded deals. And I am working with organizations in my district that I will be bringing forth to the rest of the board as well. And I'm super hopeful that all of you will support that and ask important questions. But that is just because that's our job. We are supposed to do this work. And it's just heartbreaking to see this conversation take the shape that it has taken. Thank you, Chair.
Member Honig.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to talk about the 3 things too on the agenda. I previously stated this at the finance meeting, but again, I'm going to reiterate that Green Halo is an amazing program, and the things that they're doing District 2, 3, and 5, and just across the district is amazing. And to see those kids come with such confidence and speak, I cannot support that more. And I'm going to be making sure I reach out to my, high schools, middle schools in my district to see what can be done there too, because that's just amazing. And also another quick note about the Westmont Lions Club. I believe, again, stated this in finance, that the amount of winter coats that PRC and other local organizations get and distribute in the high need, and the staff that stays out late once a year to distribute those coats is amazing. And this is, I mean, again, these are three great organizations. I support all three of them. And, to talk about the transparency process of this, I mean, if we remember last year, it is much harder when you have, a set of, three county board members that are getting, emails and calls from different organizations. But when you have to zone in and do a lot more work on your end to reach out into your community and talk with your governments, whether it's townships, whether it is, local municipality, what have you, the onus is on us to go out and seek, advice from our communities. That is our jobs as county board members, what we're elected to do. There's not been one time have I thought that anyone on this board has, thought of bringing something to the table that wasn't out of good faith, because not only are all three of these great organizations, but we were all elected to do this job and to do it in good faith on behalf of all the residents. I will be bringing up something myself, and hopefully I will get board support in the future, soon enough, but beyond on behalf of an organization. So again, I agree, with my colleagues. I think we just need to bring it down a little bit. I respect each and every one of you on this board, and to keep doing the good work we're doing. So thank you, Chair Conroy.
Okay, Member Garcia.
Yeah, hi. I think the word a lack of transparency was used in this beginning of this discussion. And I have to remind people that we had a robust discussion on all three of these last county board in July. We had it again in the finance department. And if any questions need to be asked, that's when they should have been asked before this voting started. And if you wanted to ask something, that's when to ask it. This is upsetting, that's what's been said, but I really do believe that the process is good. I'm not even going to validate what was said otherwise, but we just want to say that there has been total transparency with these. So thank you.
Okay, Member Yu.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm not going to repeat everything that everyone mentioned, but there was one point that a member did mention, well, a member to start, about the transparency issue. And my only thing is that the parameters, I think it is hard, because I did send information to a community organization and they were like, what are the parameters? How much, what's the ceiling? What's the minimum? All that stuff. And it's very kind of loose at this time. And basically it's pretty much anything that's statutorily allowed, by the county board. So I think that does make it a little bit harder, but that just means that it really puts the onus on the county board member to make sure that the organization understands, what would be a good request, a reasonable request. I think it puts the onus on the county board member to make sure that other members understand what's happening. And I am going to be asking the questions of what's the population served? What's the exact mission? How are these dollars going to be spent? Who's the vendor? Are there any organizations that they're partnering with? I mean, there are lots of questions to be asking for each and every request, and I hope that all the board members do the same.
Member Cahill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I support these three initiatives. I believe each one of us on the county board, we have our responsibility for our vote, just like every vote here. And you need to do your work and figure out if you support it or not. And I was really moved by Member Zay's words, saying after 26 years, he has never heard this kind of accusatory tone and words from another county board member. And I just have to say, if we are going to work together for the people of DuPage County, we have to be civil to each other. We have to compromise on big issues, and we have to be compassionate and do what's right for the people of DuPage County. So I support these three, and I sure will be asking questions, just like I always do about financial matters and how the taxpayer money is spent. But I'm surely comfortable that these are three great initiatives brought up by our District 3 members.
Member Desart.
Thank you. For those of you who are saying that you're offended by my words, I just wanted to remind you that I clearly said, the word altruistic. I'm sure my co-members are doing this for altruistic reasons. I clearly said that, and all of you are offended. I don't know why, because all I said was that the public perception might be otherwise. Thank you.
Member Ozog.
The public perception was not such until you brought it up. This is a really unfortunate discussion that we're having here. Last year, the chair had initiated a $1.8 million program, 300,000 per district. The administrative issues, et cetera, were difficult, but that doesn't mean that community needs have gone away. And clearly, the fact that two of the members who are part of this initiative today are from the opposite party from the chair clearly means that if you come to the chair, to quote the Bible, seek and you shall find. So, you can certainly approach, if there is something that you feel strongly about, a group that you feel strongly about, then go ahead and do it. But I truly can say that the idea of buying a vote never crossed my mind when I started my personal initiative a couple of weeks ago. So this is insulting. There's just no getting past it. So if we want to work together as a board, and I think for the most part we do a really good job, this is really uncalled for. Thank you. I really think an apology would be in order.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, hang on. Roll call, please.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Heather,
Yes.
Member Honig,
Yes.
Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Martinez,
Yes.
Member Ozog, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu,
Aye.
Member Zay, Member Cahill, Member Childress, Member Covert,
Aye.
Member Desart, Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Evans, and Member Galassi.
And by the way, thank you to all the board members who have taken on the responsibility of the extra work that you have to do in order to get these things done and to continue maintaining the respect of your colleagues, because we have to work together, because if you don't have the votes, you won't get your initiative through now, will you? Okay, Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 011326, approval of funding to Darien Lions Club in the amount of $30,000 for a food basket program ARPA interest. Got a second? No.
Wait. Okay. Member Desart, did you want a roll call? Oh, you're okay with the Lions Club. Okay.
No.
Leave is granted.
No, same as vote as the last.
Oh, she voted no last time, so we need a roll call.
So we can just do leave. We can just do leave.
Huh?
I think we need a roll call. We need a roll call. Let's just do it to be clear.
State's attorney tells me you need a roll call, and I always follow the state's attorney. Roll call, please.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Heather, Member Honig, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Martinez,
Aye.
Member Ozog, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu, Member Zay, Member Cahill, Member Childress, Member Covert, Member Desart, Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Evans, and Member Galassi.
Member Garcia.
Make a motion to approve FIR 011426, approval of funding to Westmont Lions Club in the amount of $30,000 for winter clothing program ARPA interest.
I'm assuming we need a roll call, so
Yeah.
Member Desart can vote no. Roll call, please.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Heather, Member Honig, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Martinez,
Aye.
Member Ozog, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu,
Aye.
Member Zay, Member Cahill, Member Childress, Member Covert, Member Desart, Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Evans, and Member Galassi.
Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve FIR 011526, acceptance of an extension of time and appropriation of additional funding for the DuPage Animal Friends unrestricted grant for program year 26. This needs a roll call from 50,000 to 550,000, an increase of 500,000 for animal services. Roll call, please.
Roll call, please.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Heather, Member Honig, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Martinez,
Aye.
Member Ozog, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu,
Aye.
Member Zay, Member Cahill, Member Childress, Member Covert, Member Desart, Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Evans, and Member Galassi.
Member Garcia.
And finally, I make a motion to approve FIR 011626, budget transfers from 8/11/2026 for various companies and accounting units.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Garcia. Okay, let's move on to Animal Services and Member Krajewski.
Just again, thank the Animal Foundation, DuPage Animal Foundations for the $500,000 check. That will come in handy for the new building. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Krajewski. Development and Member Tornatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I know there are some who may be concerned about how the zoning board of appeals denied item number 1 here, DCO 25-26, which seems to be a significant benefit to the people of this county. It's my understanding that the reason that it was denied was based on what they believe were policy decisions that would be better made by the elected officials, that being the development committee and us. Couple of things I want to explain before we get started on item 12A. Because item 10 is a variation which was denied by the zoning board of appeals, it will require a 3/4 majority. Items 1 through 9 will not. In addition, there will be an amendment to this entire set of conditions that I will read. So, not to confuse anyone, and with the state's attorney's advice and consent, I'm going to be making a motion in a second to approve items 1 through 9 on DCO 25-26. We will not take a vote. We'll not take a vote yet. Hold on. Then a motion and a second on item 10, and then a motion to amend everything with some additional conditions, which I will read, at which point then we will have a motion to, and a second, presumably, to approve items 1 through 9 as amended, and then item 10 as amended, which will require 14 votes. So, take it one step at a time. I just want to make sure everybody's on board. So, I move to approve item DCO 25-26, zoning 26-7, NHHC to approve 1, a conditional use for a planned development for 3 uses of the subject property, a group home, greenhouse, and accessory retail, wholesale crop sales on the subject property, and an accessory dwelling unit. 2, a variation to increase the total area permitted detached accessory buildings from 1,241 square feet to approximately 6,989 square feet for a greenhouse. 3, a variation to exceed the maximum permissible area for detached accessory buildings in R3 single-family residential district from 2,600 square feet to approximately 6,989 square feet. Number 4, a variation to allow the total area of detached accessory buildings, proposed accessory dwelling unit, proposed greenhouse, and existing shed to be larger than the principal building existing house, being 4,745 square foot. 5, a variation to allow an accessory dwelling unit to be more than 1,000 square feet in size, approximately 3,850 square feet. Number 6, a variation to allow an accessory dwelling unit to be located in a new detached accessory building. Number 7, a variation to increase the maximum number of permitted occupants on the property from 5 occupants to 12 occupants total, allocated as 8 occupants in the existing principal single family proposed group home and 4 occupants in the accessory dwelling unit. 8, a variation to allow neither the legal or beneficial owner to be an occupant on the property with an ADU. And number 9, a variation to allow the exterior of the converted dwelling to not retain the appearance of an existing accessory building containing the accessory dwelling units. Now I'd ask for a second. I will now move to approve number 10 of item DCO 25-26, a variation to increase the height of a detached accessory building from permitted 24 feet to approximately 28 feet for the proposed greenhouse of 36 of the proposed accessory dwelling unit. If the county board seeks approval, this will require a 3/4 majority vote based on the recommendation to deny by the zoning board of appeals. I believe there was a second on that. Now I'd also move to amend items 1 through 9 as well as item 10 as follows: that the property be developed in accordance with the petitioner's site plan made part of zoning petition zoning 26000007 NGHC Inc. dated June 25th, 2026. 2, that the owner developer is to apply for and receive a building permit for all construction and or evacuation that occurs on the property. Item 3, that in conjunction with the submittal of a building permit, the developer provide a landscape plan showing partial landscape screens around the perimeter of the development. Condition 4, that the zoning relief granted herein shall run with the land and shall be transferable to all future owners and operators of the subject property and approved use. Condition number 5, that any future residents or tenants of the proposed accessory dwelling unit shall have a familiar relationship with a resident of the group home. Subsection A, for purposes of this condition, a familial relationship shall mean a spouse, domestic partner, parent, child, sibling, grandparent, grandchild, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, first cousin, or an individual related by marriage, adoption, legal guardianship, or other legal recognized family relationship. Condition number 6, that the proposed greenhouse shall not be used for on-site commercial sales. And condition number 7, that the property be developed in accordance with all other codes and ordinances of DuPage County. Do I have a second to my amendment? Now, please, the chair, I would move to approve items 12A, 1 through 9, as previously moved, as amended with the conditions that I just read. And I think we need to vote on that.
We vote on the amendment first.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I totally apologize.
Yeah. Okay, we need
yeah.
do you have a second on the amendment?
Do we have a second on the amendment?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we need a roll call.
Now
on
we need to vote on it. I apologize.
Yes, after the amendments. Yes, I have you down. Unless it's on the amendment. Okay, Member Covert.
So I had to leave early from the development meeting, which I'm a committee member of. And I wholly support this. It's in my district, it's in my town, Naperville. And they do a lot of great work. I'm very proud of these young adults making their lives for themselves. I do want to apologize for leaving early. I did have to chair my own technology committee meeting in the middle. But I just had one question, Member Tornatore. Were these amendments discussed with the constituents?
The petitioner was aware of amendments, conditions that they agreed to at the end of the meeting and were acknowledging would be part of today's petition.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Member Eckhoff.
I just had a couple of questions. I tried to look for the backup information and I couldn't find it. What's the surrounding zoning of the other properties in the neighborhood? Is it similar to what the petitioners got, or?
Paul, go ahead. I'm sorry, Madam
I
Chair.
sent Paul a note, but I just couldn't find, we get our agenda information and there's another packet that gets sent out. I couldn't find that to explain what it is.
The property to the north is in Naperville and it's zoned multifamily. It's in the process of being developed at about 8.7 to 11 dwelling units per acre, just north of Plank Road. Directly to the east is a residential property unincorporated that is in the process of being petitioned for development either in Naperville or the county for multifamily, and then to the east of that is Napier Boulevard. To the south, single family residential properties that are developed in a smaller cul-de-sac, in unincorporated, but beyond that, single-family residential in Naperville on properties that are about 20,000 square feet or less.
Yeah.
And to the west of it, a single-family home that was at one point part of the subject property that's been divided off.
And Naperville didn't have any objection to any of this?
Nope.
From what I read, they didn't. And and one of my pet peeves is number of variations and extent of variations, and this seems to have all of it, although I know it's got a lot of support. Was there ever a thought about changing the zoning from whatever it is? I know you got a PUD, which you usually try to use. They have multiple types of zoning in a single project, which looks like you've done. There wasn't something else that would be more consistent, but get this all in without the variations?
No, rezoning could potentially trigger the ability for municipality to object, which would trigger a supermajority vote, which is what you have with the variations anyway.
Well, we gave them the opportunity to object anyway, and they didn't do it.
And rezoning is not consistent with the rest of the zoning in the area either, so it's a little bit more difficult to prove up. And the variations are necessary because this is the first instance where a property owner has used our new zoning code relative to accessory dwelling units, which the county established last year that required certain things be put in place, and that's what most of these variations are for. They don't match up with the new zoning code that was put in place for accessory dwelling units last year.
All right, thank you.
Member Ozog.
A quick question for you, Paul. Besides Naperville not having any objections, there were no other objections from any of the surrounding neighbors. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Member Desart.
Thank you. I totally agree with this project. Absolutely. I just wanted to say to the Nelsons and to the ladies, wonderful presentation at the meeting. Now, I'm not on development, but I was there at that meeting. And Chair Tornatore, maybe you can help me understand amendment number 6. I know that the ladies have a couple of businesses. They want to do gardening, and they've got that justadollop.org. And I know right now they plan to sell the items that they grow or make at the growing place. But I thought that item number 6 says that the proposed greenhouse shall not be used for on-site commercial sales. And I thought the lady said that they do in the future, at some point in the future, they might want to do on-site sales. And so does that mean the items grown in the greenhouse would not be allowed for sales?
I think the on-site commercial sales would be people coming onto the premises.
Sure, right.
Just as opposed to them going out and selling it as they do now.
Okay, it says it shall not be used for on-site commercial sales.
Yeah, otherwise,
So they have to
otherwise
give
it would become a retail store in the middle of a residential neighborhood. They don't find that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
This is the.
Do you want to call?
The vote on the amendment.
Yeah, this is vote on the amendment.
Member Tornatore.
Aye.
Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay.
Aye.
Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert.
Aye.
Member Desart. Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez. Member Ozog. And Member Schwarzy.
Okay, Member Tornatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve DCO 25-26. 12A 1 through 9 as amended.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Member Tornatore.
Aye.
Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert.
Aye.
Member Desart. Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez.
Aye.
Member Ozog. And Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve DCO 25-26, number 10 as amended, and this would require a supermajority.
Roll call, please.
You need a roll call. I think we need
Roll call.
we need a roll call.
Member-
We need
member-
majority, sorry.
Member Tornatori.
Aye.
Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childers. Member Covert.
Aye.
Member Desart. Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez.
Aye.
Member Ozog. And Member Schwarzy.
Okay, thank you to the Nelson family for what you do. We appreciate you very much, and I apologize you had to wait so long.
Thank you.
Keep
Madam
up the
Chair.
great work. Thank you, Member Tornatori.
I move to approve DCO 26-26, zoning 26-24, a variation to increase the height of a fence on a corner side set from 6'6" to approximately 8 feet.
Okay, leave is granted.
Move to approve DCO 27-26, zoning 26-25, to approve a variation to reduce the interior side setback of a kitchen bump out addition from 10 feet to 6.59 feet.
Leave is granted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve DCO 28-26, zoning 26-26, variation to reduce the corner side setback from 30 feet to approximately 14.78 feet for a detached garage for model addition.
Leave is granted, Member Tornatori.
And finally, I move to approve DCO 29-26, zoning 26-27, a variation to reduce the corner side setback for a new concrete patio from required 30 feet to approximately 15 feet.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Tornatori. Economic Development, Member Yu.
No update today. Thank you.
Okay, Environment, Member Heather.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few updates. SCARES conducted a teacher training workshop on solar energy. It was a crazy day with lots of thunderstorms and rain. So 20 out of the 21 teachers registered attended this full day workshop. So far, we have had 29 environmental STEM presentations this summer, and more than 700 students have attended that. And finally, I'm super excited to share that
Member Heather, you were finishing up your report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I was saying last Thursday, the Feed the Cart recycling campaign was awarded the National Recycling Coalition's Beth Brown Botner Award for Outstanding Public Education and Outreach Program. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the loop. The outreach campaign launched in October 2025 is a collaboration of 275 local governments in the 7-county region of Metro Chicago and is the largest recycling education and improvement campaign in Illinois' history. The campaign aims to increase recycling tonnage across the Chicago metro region by 15% before 2030, as well as to improve the quality of recyclables through contamination reduction and growing participation. It features Loop, a lovable recycling cart that loves to eat, but can get cart burn when non-recyclable items are tossed in him. DuPage County is one of the main partners and a sub-grant recipient. The initiative has resulted in more traffic to our website pages and social media accounts. It is truly improving recycling in the region. We do have Loop here. I encourage all of you to please take a selfie with him, post it on your social media, and Loop will be hanging out outside our county office this afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Heather. Human Services and Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last week, I sent out an email to this board sharing that the last $219,000 of our $10 million DuPage Community Transformational Grants were dispersed. And, we've been doing this over the course of 4 years. We've helped really tens of thousands of people in DuPage County. And I want to take this time to thank and recognize the DuPage Foundation for their help and role in doing this, as well as our DuPage Community Transformational Partnership Committee, which included from DuPage County, Mary Keating, myself, and Vice Chair Garcia. We reviewed hundreds and hundreds of applications. We spent hundreds and hundreds of hours doing this over the course of the last 4 years. And I'll be talking to the Chair Conroy, about maybe having them come and giving a final update to this board of all the help they were able to do. And it's long-term help too. It's not over. And then finally, I just want to thank this board for supporting that program. And I think we all should be proud of all the people we helped through COVID and beyond with this program. So onto the agenda, I will make a motion to approve item HSCO 726, amendment to purchase order 65930001 serve issued to Lavie Industries, Inc., to provide a queuing and appointment scheduling system to increase the encumbrance in the amount of $8,000, resulting in an amended contract total of $40,758.18.
Has it been moved and seconded? Roll call, please.
Member Schwarzy.
Aye.
Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez. And Member Ozog.
Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSR 1826, recommendation for the approval of modification 1 to the Community Development Block Grant Agreement CD 2503 with the City of West Chicago, York Avenue Area Water Main and Streets Rehabilitation Project for the purpose of reducing the overall scope of work.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSR 1926, recommendation for approval of an assignment and assumption of the Community Development Block Grant Agreement, project number CD 2108, and associated lien to facilitate the merger between Almost Home Kids and Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2626, agreement between the County of DuPage, Illinois, and Community and Economic Development of Cook County for technical and professional implementation services for multifamily weatherization project 2 College Park Apartments through the Illinois Home Weatherization Assistance Program for the period of August 11th, 2026 through September 30th, 2027 for an amount not to exceed $104,000.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2726. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to A. Lugan Contractors LLC to provide architectural and mechanical services for multifamily weatherization for community services for the period of August 1st, 2026 through November 15th, 2027 for a contract amount not to exceed $1 million.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2826. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to McMahon Food Corporation for fluid dairy for the DuPage Care Center residents, cafeteria, and cafes located on the county campus for the period of September 25, 26 through September 24, 27 for a contract not to exceed $38,000.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2926, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Alpha Baking Company for assorted sliced bread, rolls, and buns for the DuPage Care Center for the period of September 9, 2026 through September 8, 2027 for a contract not to exceed $36,300.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. Finally, I move on HSP 3026, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Central Polybag Corp for trash and recycling can liners for the DuPage Care Center for the period of August 11th, 2026 through August 10th, 2027 for a contract total amount not to exceed $53,000.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Schwarzy. Judicial and Public Safety and Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At last week's JPS meeting, we had budget presentations from the 18th Judicial Circuit Court and the DuPage County State's Attorney. At our next meeting on August 18th, we will hear a presentation from the Public Defender. That same day, we will host a special call JPS meeting at 1 p.m. to hear presentations from the DuPage County Sheriff, the 18th Judicial Circuit Court Clerk, and the County Coroner. As always, we look forward to these presentations, and I encourage all board members to attend these presentations to learn more about these offices' requests. And with that, I move on JPS R-17-26, resolution approving the sale of inventory from the County of DuPage on behalf of the DuPage County Sheriff's Office to the Village of Villa Park Police Department.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Evans.
Aye.
Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez.
Aye.
Member Ozog. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. Member Covert. Member Desart. And Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Thank you. I move on JPSP-43-26, Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Sutton Ford to furnish and deliver one 2026 Ford F-150 truck to the state's attorney's office for cold case unit investigator for the period of August 11th, 2026 through November 30th, 2026 for a contract total of $47,117.22.
Leave is granted. Member Evans.
That's it. Thank you.
That was it. Thank you so much. Okay, legislative and member Desart.
Thank you. Just a couple of things, notes from Springfield. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed into law the last couple of weeks some really great pieces of legislation, like SB 3325, which introduces nation-leading expanded menopause education options for healthcare professionals. SB 3020 protects victims of domestic violence against tracking, doxing, and online harassment. HB 4273 and SB 714, stopping unfair insurance increases. HB 2564, removing pension penalties on school districts, compensating teachers for added responsibilities due to teacher shortages. HB 3564, cracking down on duplicate or surprise fees not outlined in lease agreements to make housing more affordable. And House Joint Resolution supporting expanded care for veterans. And with that, I move to approve LEG P0002-26, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Marquardt and Humes, Inc. to provide consulting services as lobbyists representing DuPage County before the Illinois General Assembly and State Executive Branch for County Board for the period of September 15th, 2026 through September 14th, 2027 for a contract total amount not to exceed $94,500.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Desart.
Aye.
Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez. Member Ozog. Member Shorzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. Member Cahill. Member Childress. And Member Covert.
Okay, Member Desart.
And I move to approve LEG P0003-26, the recommendation for the approval of a contract to Rauchi and Sullivan Strategies LLC to provide consulting services as lobbyists representing DuPage County before the Illinois General Assembly and the State Executive Branch for the DuPage County Board for the period of September 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2027 for a contract total not to exceed $52,500.
Okay, leave is granted. On to Public Works and Member Childress, Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on PWP 2026 on a recommendation for the approval to in situ form technologies to renew the Omnium cooperative agreement where DuPage County is the lead agency for trenchless rehabilitation and maintenance pipeline infrastructure for a period of February 13, 2027 to February 12, 2029.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez. Member Ozog. Member Shorzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. And Member Cahill.
Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on PWP 2126 on the recommendation for the approval to in situ form technologies to renew the Omnia cooperative agreement where DuPage County is the lead agency for trenchless rehabilitation and maintenance of pipeline infrastructure for a period of February 13, 2027 through February 12, 2029.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on FMP 2426. The recommendation for the approval of a contract to Johnson Control Building Solutions to furnish and deliver Johnson Controls as parts as needed for county campus for facilities management for a period of August 13, 2026 through November 1, 2028 for a total contract amount not to exceed $48,000.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on FMP 2526 on the recommendation for the approval of a contract to Windy City representatives to furnish and deliver a chilled water pump for the county power plant for facilities management for a period of August 11, 2026 through August 10, 2027, for a total contract amount not to exceed $37,100.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on FMP 2626 on the recommendation for the approval of a contract to Central Polybag Corp. to furnish and deliver plastic trash and recycled liners as needed for the county facility for facilities management for a period of August 11, 2026 through August 10, 2027 for a contract amount not to exceed $35,000.
Leave is granted. Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on FMP 2726 on a recommendation for the approval of a contract to Air Filter Solutions to furnish, deliver air filters as needed for county facilities, for facilities management for a period of September 27, 2026 through September 26, 2027 for a total contract amount not to exceed $118,100.
Roll call, please.
Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez.
Aye.
Member Ozog. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu.
Aye.
Member Zay. And Member Cahill.
Okay, Vice Chair Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move on FMR 526 on the recommendation for the approval of a renewal of a lease agreement between the County of DuPage, Illinois and Court Reporting Services, State of Illinois for leasing space at the Judicial Office Facility or the Judicial Annex Facility on campus for facilities management for a 2-year period of September 1, 2026 through August 31, 2028 for an annual amount not to exceed $12,000.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Vice Chair Childress. Stormwater and Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee update. Just want to echo what you had said about the severe weather. We had record rains in June. July, we had severe weather. And it looks like August is starting off with a bang also. Just for the record, we've opened our facilities 7 times this year, which is the most in the last decade. So again, our commitment and infrastructure for stormwater is paying off this year with all the rain and severe weather we've been having. With that, I'll move on SMR 7-26, amendment to resolution SMR 26121, delegating authority to DuPage County Director of Stormwater Management to grant authorization to public and private utilities to use county property without committee approval.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Zay.
Aye.
Member Cahill. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Covert. Member Desart. Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans. Member Galassi. Member Garcia. Member Heather. Member Honig. Member Krajewski. Member LaPlante. Member Martinez. Member Ozog. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. And Member Yu.
Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMP 9-26, recommendation to approve intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Village of Itasca for roadway and infrastructure improvement project from August 11, 2026 through June 30th, 2028. The amount not to exceed $100,000.
Leave is granted. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMP 10-26, approval of contract issued to V3 companies, professional engineering services for design of grant-funded capital projects countywide for August 11, 2026 through November 30th, 2027, amount not to exceed $95,000.
Leave is granted. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMP 1126, approval of a contract issued to Trotter and Associates for on-call inspection and design engineering for stormwater facilities countywide from August 11, 2026, November 30th, 2027, the amount not to exceed $90,000.
Leave is granted. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move on SMP 1226, approve a contract issued to Hoyer Construction for the Prairie Avenue Pipeline Rehabilitation Project for stormwater management from August 11, 2026 to November 30th, 2026, amount not to exceed $48,400.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member
Thank you, Madam
Zay.
Chair.
Technology and Member Covert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on TE-CO-4-26, amendment to purchase order 8474 issued to Monday.com Ltd. to add 10 additional seats for an increase of $4,115.14 and a new contract total amount of $30,861.66.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Covert,
Aye.
Member Desart, Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Evans, Member Galassi, Member Garcia, Member Heather, Member Honig, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, Member Martinez, Member Ozog, Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu,
Aye.
Member Zay, Member Cahill, and Member Childress.
Okay, Member Covert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on TE-P-13-26, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to SHI International Corp. for data storage equipment for information technology for the period of August 12, 2026 through August 11, 2027 for a contract total amount of $47,657.76.
Leave is granted. Member Covert.
And I finally move on TE-P0014-26. However, I want to go back to committee updates because I did have updates. So would you allow me to go back to updates after approving this?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to SHI International Corp. for Spy Cloud software for information technology for the period of August 12, 2026 through August 11, 2027 for a contract total amount of $46,054.20.
Leave is granted. Member Covert.
Okay, I have a few brief updates from the Technology Committee. Exciting news. First, I'm pleased to share that DuPage County has been recognized as a 2026 AI 50 organization by the Center for Public Sector AI for our leadership in the responsible and innovative use of artificial intelligence. So give our IT department a round of applause. The recognition highlights the county's work to train more than 270 employees in responsible AI, establish an AI resource center, and implement practical AI solutions, including an AI-powered land records initiative implemented in partnership with Recorder Liz Chaplin, the Recorder's Office. Congratulations to CIO Anthony McPherson, Deputy CIO Richard Bernson, our information technology team, and Recorder Liz Chaplin, her team, and everyone who contributed to this national recognition. This is a great example of collaboration across the county government and how we can use emerging technology responsibly to improve services to our residents. We are continuing that work. Responsible AI training remains available to all county employees, and IT is launching a Google Gemini pilot this month. Employees interested in learning more about generative AI and participating in the pilot are encouraged to get involved. We are also hosting an AI event for county leadership that will include a keynote address, a panel discussion, and hands-on training with both Microsoft Copilot and Google Gemini. Our goal is to continue building AI knowledge across the organization while emphasizing responsible use, security, ethics, transparency, and public trust. It's exciting to see DuPage County receiving national recognition for this work, but even more important is ensuring that our innovation translates into better government and better service for our residents. Thank you and congratulations again to everyone involved.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Transportation and Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to say thank you to our DDOT road and cleanup crews. It's been a very stormy summer and we had more of it today. So thank you all for the hard work you're doing. I move for approval, of 26/2004, amendment to resolution DTR 2826 between the County of DuPage and Ferguson Water Works for the Milton Township Storm Sewer Materials, correction of project section number. I moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Ozog,
Yes.
Member Schwarzy, Member Tornatori, Member Yu, Member Zay, Member Cahill, Member Childress, Member Covert.
Aye.
Member Desart, Member Eckhoff.
Aye.
Member Evans, Member Galassi, Member Garcia, Member Heather, Member Honig, Member Krajewski, Member LaPlante, and Member Martinez.
Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 3226, local public agency agreement between the County of DuPage and Illinois Department of Transportation to coordinate the design, operation, and maintenance of the advanced traffic management system, no county cost.
Leave is granted. Member Ozark.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 3326, awarding resolution to H&H Electric Company for LED traffic signal head replacement at various locations within DuPage County for an estimated county cost of $490,887.81 per lowest responsible bid.
Leave is granted. Member Ozark.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTP 5526, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Bonal Incorporated to furnish and deliver carbide plow blades and curb shoes as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period of August 15th, 2026 through July 31st, 2027 for a contract total not to exceed $200,000, contract pursuant to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act.
Leave is granted. Member Ozark.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTP 5626, recommendation for the approval of a contract with Monroe Truck Equipment to furnish and deliver Monroe plow and spreader repair and replacement parts for the Division of Transportation for the period of August 15th, 2026 through July 31st, 2027 for a contract total not to exceed $80,000, contract pursuant to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Ozark. Okay, we'll move on to new business. Does anyone have any new business? Oh, sorry, we'll do all business first. Okay, Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Try to be brief. I know we've had a long meeting. I did hand out a memorandum from the DuPage Water Commission to all the board members. There's been a lot of misinformation on the sale of the 75th Street property from the DuPage Water Commission. First, I can tell you the DuPage Water Commission, I don't think there's any more important role in the county than the distribution of safe drinking water to our homes, businesses, hospitals, daycares, senior centers. So that is the mission of the DuPage Water Commission. This property was bought over 30 years ago. It was a mink farm. It was bought for future infrastructure needs. It wasn't bought for open space. It's never been a forest preserve. It's been out there for future expansion. With the Waterlink project bringing water to Montgomery, Oswego, and Yorkville, it was deemed that we did not need this property for future expansion. The Water Commission actually bought about 6 acres in southern Naperville about 3 months ago for any future expansion of that project, just to have just for a pump station if we needed it. Again, we've had this property. We went through the public process. We passed it as surplus property. We posted in the paper. We asked for bids. Anybody could bid at that point. No, I can't go to a certain entity and say, hey, do you want to buy this property? That's not what we do. You have to put it out for the public also to go out for it. Again, everybody said there's been numerous news articles on this. Again, if anybody has any problems on this, there's been a lot of questions about stormwater. I have had no discussions with Polte on stormwater. Staff has dealt with that. I've basically not been involved, so there would be no perceived conflicts with the Water Commission and myself as chairman of stormwater. Again, we don't have, once we sell the property, we can't tell anybody who buys it what they want to do with it, what's the density, the affordability, transportation, anything on that property. Again, it's surrounded by residential. We've had issues on that site with encroachments from those residents for years, coming on, basically using it as an extension of their backyard. So again, we're going through the process. The process for people to speak out is right now as it goes through, Pulte decided to go with Naperville, not keep it unincorporated or go to Woodridge. They went to incorporate into Naperville. Again, we have no say in that process. That's Pulte. So if anybody has any questions, again, there's a site plan here that Pulte had on it. There's a map, there's a picture, there's the timeline. If anybody has any questions, please let me go. And again, let me know, or again, there was kind of a nasty article out there written by a board member that kind of attacked many board members, the chairman and Member Honig. I can tell you, Member Honig has come into the Water Commission and worked very hard as a commissioner. He attends meetings, he's active in all the meetings, he asks questions, and I think these attacks are just unbased. And if anybody, for people not to know and write something, I think is part of the problem. But again, this has been an open process, and Water Commission board is half appointed by the county board. The other half is appointed by mayors and managers, 13 members total. So it's a government board. And as I tell, there will be times that we'll have conflicts between the county board and the water commission. And there's conflicts between the municipalities and the water commission. As I tell the mayors, the 4 mayors that serve on there, that when you walk in here, you have to take your county or your municipal hat off and you have to serve the water commission. And that's what we're doing on this, is getting rid of property that, again, that we bought for future expansion for infrastructure and that's not needed. So it's going for its best use. And, you know, it could have been out for, they could have put a Costco there. We don't know when we put it up for bid, and this is the bid that came out. So any questions, please let me know. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Zay. Member Eckhoff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make a couple of comments that I wasn't able to make during finance because we ran late. But there were some comments that there was justification for raises being requested by the recorder because the sheriff, the state's attorney, and the public defender had all given substantial raises to their employees in the past. And I want to remind people who may not have been around or that are forgetting that we were given a heads up from all 3 of those departments for 3 years prior to being able to recruit people to the positions that were vacant. We were having large number of people, a large deficiency in our recruiting at the sheriff's office. The public defender and the state's attorney both came to us in a couple of years saying that they weren't able to fill all their positions. So all of the raises that were given to the sheriff's office, the state's attorney, and the public defender were justified by the fact that there was they needed to fill those slots, which is totally different than what's at the recorder's office. So I hope people who were banking on that justification understand what the real facts are and don't do it again. Thanks.
Okay, Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's unfortunate that Member LaPlante is not here today because she might have learned something from the information that Mr. Zay handed out. I was one of the other board members attacked in her Substack report about this issue. I have a sister who lives in Colorado, and I can tell you that nothing is more important than our water supply. And I know that the DuPage Water Commission does as hard, as great a job as we could possibly ask for to look out for our interests. And I know that they're working on long-term plans for that. But I want to bring up another point, which also came up earlier today. We have so much discord in this country, so much misinformation, and so much vitriol that I really, I'm very proud to work on this board, and I'm very proud to work with most of you. And I think that it really behooves us, it's really important for us to use social media responsibly. And we live in a completely different era than 30 years ago, et cetera. But if we hope to work with other members, then I think we really need to try to tone it down in terms of what we call people, what we accuse people of, et cetera. And I certainly try to do that. And I believe 90% of you do. So I hope that we can continue to work in accord with one another instead of sowing discord. Thank you.
Member you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, I just want to thank our IT staff, our whole IT department. So I recently attended our county municipal technology roundtable, and this is something that we started 2 years ago. And I just, I really appreciated the presentation from Gartner because it had to do with cybersecurity and how it would affect our local governments here in DuPage, all the governance guidelines, the predictors, and trends. I think it was really, really useful. And then secondly, there was actually a conversation during the technology roundtable, and it had to do with the benefits of Copilot versus Gemini versus Claude. And these are all things that our municipalities need. In fact, one of the municipalities mentioned that it was so beneficial for her because they don't have the staff or the budget in order to try out all of these different AI models and programs. And so I really just appreciated the fact that our staff has continued doing these quarterly technology roundtables. Thank you very much, Anthony and Richard, for keeping this going. WDC, all of you guys, because I think it is benefiting our local governments in DuPage. So thanks.
Member Krajewski.
Yeah, I almost feel like I'm as old as they now with the history, but the DuPage Water Commission was started by the municipalities in the 80s. The county didn't want anything to do with it. The municipalities took the risk They bonded the money, built the infrastructure. But then down in Springfield, they got legislation to get 7 members of 13-member board for the Water Commission, even though they were not a member themselves. It took, I think, the county 20 years before they actually even joined the Water Commission and paid the fee. But that was started by the municipalities. The municipalities have 6 spots. I served on that Water Commission for District 3 from 2000 or 99, I guess, to 2000 and whatever. But again, the municipalities are the ones that actually built the Water Commission and paid for the infrastructure, bonded the money, took the risk, and built everything throughout DuPage. DuPage County joined it 20 plus years later and paid the fee. And a couple other towns along the way joined. They weren't initial members either. So again, municipalities are a big part of that county water commission.
Okay, Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank Member Zay for giving us this memorandum that lists a lot of the facts and is very helpful in this information about the DuPage Water Commission parcel on 75th Street. I live in Naperville and it's come before the City Council, and I did attend the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting when they first brought it up, and I heard the comments from these residents, and I had reached out to them. I really wanted to advocate for them because I was very concerned about this wetland. But this wetland under any plan will be protected. And some of the misinformation out there is that we're like maybe in cahoots with Pulte and that they're lying about the wetland delineation. That is absolutely not true. They hired a consultant that specializes in this, and their wetland delineation report will be verified by county staff. So there are checks and balances to this development. And the more I heard the comments from the residents, the more I realized that they want nothing there ever. So even if the DuPage Water Commission had decided to use their own land to put a pump station there or a maintenance yard, they wanted nothing there. So let's say that the county stepped in and wanted to put some affordable housing there. They would have opposed that too. They want nothing there, and it is unfair for one property owner to tell another property owner that they don't have the same rights to develop their property. So I'm going to be forwarding this memorandum to anybody who asks for, is basically spreading misinformation. I hope everybody can speak in a more rational manner. Well, not you guys, like other people on social media can speak in a more rational manner. And then, share our website about the stormwater management, the stormwater application process. It is very vigorous. So I feel confident that whatever goes there will be responsibly developed. And if we have a problem with the amount of development that's going in to DuPage County, that's a separate conversation. That's a policy decision. So we can look at that too. But for now, this has followed the process. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else in old business? Member Honig.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. To kind of follow up on that, I am relatively new on the Water Commission as of this last year and a half. And in that short span of time, I have learned a lot more than I thought I would ever learn in my life about water. And with a lot of big projects happening with the water link, as Member Zay said, and going up north, there's a lot going on, and there's so much information, and we're working really hard there to juggle all those major projects that are going to be transformative for years to come. Again, I want to thank Member Zay just for your comments prior. I did have my own concerns and fielded a lot of questions from the public and a lot of residents that live in and around that area last year, and I asked as many questions as I possibly could with the information I had last year when it came up at the Water Commission. And as a last note, that the annexation will be coming up at the Naperville City Council meeting. So if anyone has concerns and is sending the county board members emails, I would also push you guys to go to the Naperville City Council meeting and speak there as well if you have concerns in regards to the annexation. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to new business. Now, in new business, for the board member who seems to struggle with the transparency of our current the way that we do some of these grants. Let me just explain that members A brought something to me. I sent it to the state's attorney. The state's attorney vetted it, approved it. We brought it back. If there were questions, members A went back and answered those questions. Members A will now bring that to all of you. You will be allowed to ask questions if you have any issues. After this, members A will make sure that he has the support of this board. You will all have the decision whether or not to support his initiative. Then it will be put on our agenda. And once it's put on our agenda, we will vote on it. So members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On 26/21/61, this request is for Repeat Boutique for $30,000. We had Lynn Dugan come in and speak in public comment. They're not new to us. They were recipients of our small grant last year. They got $20,000 last year. This is a totally volunteer organization. That money last year went to hire a part-time executive director. I think you heard what they said. I mean, they service over 6,000 people a year, 2,000 adults, 4,000 children. They get referrals to just you just can't walk in there. They get referrals from our Health and Human Services, from Milton Township, from World Relief, from organizations, food pantries, and churches. So, and there's a set time, they can only go once a quarter there. So, I mean, this is very well run. Just can't go in every week and get something. I mean, they do clothing, they do toys, they do sheets, they do plates and dishes and pots and pans. So it's a well-run organization. It's been around, like I said, for over 50 years. And again, they set out this money would greatly help them continue to do the work they do in the community. It is on the border of District 4 and District 6. So any questions I can answer for you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I support this initiative. They have a really good website. If you want to look at their website, it gives you all the information about it. And I looked at the website. They were started in 1973, and like Member Zay said, they were incorporated in 1983. This organization has been around a long time. Donations made to Repeat Boutique are tax deductible, so it has to be a 501c3 or something similar type organization. And based on what they said on their website, I really think this is good work, and I support this.
Member Krajewski.
Thank you. I've toured this facility last year, and I've dropped off stuff to them, but they do a phenomenal job. And again, as Member Zay said, they get referrals from other agencies. So everybody's been vetted through another agency. World Relief, DuPage County Services, our own department, Metro Services, Milton Township, Catholic Charities, Head Start, ads, all refer people who have already been vetted to them to go shopping. And I did work a little bit with our speaker, Lynn, just helping her through the process, and suggested to reach out to, Member Martinez, since she was new for District 6, and she was telling me in the hallway, boy, that member asked a lot of intelligent questions. And so let's see, he asked in your district a lot of questions, but I would tell everybody to go out there and visit the place. I've dropped clothes off there before, but I think they do a phenomenal job in our community, and we'll be supporting it.
Okay, Member Garcia.
Yeah, I just had a quick question about this. I mean, it sounds like a wonderful program. I do remember this from last year. Will this 30,000 be used for the salary for the person that they hired last year, or is there a specific use that they're going to be using this $30,000?
She spoke in public comment. It was going to be used. They're going to be able to expand next door.
Expand and
I don't remember. This has been so long.
This
I
was
don't
for
even
an
remember.
And
yeah.
yeah.
Can you remind me what that was?
Yeah, she said it was going to be for an expansion.
Yeah. I don't
For
remember.
Infrastructure expansion, yes. So that's why.
Okay.
And when
I
the state-
apologize.
yeah.
I don't remember from the public comment.
Yes, and the state's attorney, the state's attorney reviewed that and approved it. Member Ozog? Okay, anybody else? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see that. Anybody else? Okay, then members A, we look forward to you file an OMA violation, Member Desart. We're moving on.
State's Attorney.
I'm elected. I have the right to speak.
The chair runs the meeting, so the chair decides who speaks.
Grow up.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I am informed we do not have anything that requires us to go into executive session. I'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Okay, this meeting's adjourned till August 25th, 2026 at 10 a.m.